a war going on. The books can't escape from the team. Call the morning steam, it's time to break one for cover. That's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott, running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice, we might play a parlay. It's the morning steam. What? Ramon Scott, sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to the money. Get to the money. You know how we do it.
All right, and a pleasant good morning to you, coming from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to the Morning Steam Show here for Monday, January 12th. We're ready for our final NFL wild card game of a wild weekend. Every game's been wild, some less wild than others, but enough about my Chargers. Hey, let's get into it with tonight's action, and we'll be here tonight with conjunction with the razor sharp picks. We had a great stream last night. Even if it didn't go the Chargers' way, had a good time with the guys on the show, and the Patriots getting that win late last night over my Chargers. The other two games, yeah, they were pretty good last night, living right up to the expectations of those games on Saturdays. We had a couple of hot ones last night with the Buffalo over Jacksonville. Great job by Buffalo last night to get that win over Jacksonville. Man, Josh Allen, hey, I had a pretty good weekend, picked all the games right except for that one. But Josh Allen, why are you going to go against our man Josh Allen in that game? And how about San Francisco over Philadelphia as well? And how about that wild trend of the 6-3 game continuing on in that series there? I mean, look, it's hard sometimes to get on board with some trends, and you see a matchup like this and everyone's talking the defending champs, but man, the last 9 years in the NFC game, the underdog 8-1 straight up, 9-0 against the spread. That seems like it's something you're supposed to go with every time, especially in a formatted playoff. So if they did it again, San Francisco, they'll advance and move on to face here in the next round. We do have, of course, the matchups already set for three of the four games. We know the days of the games as well. So San Francisco, of course, taking on Seattle next week in Seattle. Seattle, a 7-point favorite, total 45.5. And on Saturday, Buffalo, 1.5-point favorite on the road here at Denver, 46.5, and the Rams, a 4-point favorite at the Bears, total 51. We know also, we do know that in the fourth game, if you will, right now, that it'll be the New England Patriots hosting. It'll just be a matter of who they will host. Will it be Houston or it'll be Pittsburgh? We'll find out here tonight following yesterday's games. Thank you for joining me here on the Morning Steam. We'll preview tonight's NFL game. We'll also have a pretty lengthy NBA card. There's some action in the NHL. And, hey, we're going to preview tonight. Yeah, it's time. We're going to preview mid-major action, Southland, SWAC, MEAC, Patriot League, top games in those leagues tonight, because that's what we got on Monday night in college basketball. Some big matchups in those leagues. We'll tell you who's on top of the leagues and who's in those games and what we like here on the Morning Steam. All right, talk about the games here real quick yesterday. I want to get your comments and winners from yesterday. And yeah, you know what? We did go here yesterday. The Buffalo Jacksonville game might have landed on a push. We might have actually gotten beat here on the show. I think it was 50.5, and we were talking about it, and I went under on the show here yesterday. It landed 51. Some people number was right around there. So, you know what? Some on the over might have won, some on the over might have lost, some on the over might have, some on the under might have won, some on the under might have lost. With the final in yesterday's NFL first game there, with the Buffalo Bills winning 27-24 over the Jaguars. The Bills drove 66 yards, game-winning touchdown with a minute left in the game after the Jags had taken a 24-20 lead on a touchdown with 4 minutes left in the game. Buffalo grabs their first road playoff win with Josh Allen, and the first since that 1992 season. Allen threw for 273 yards and a touchdown. He also rushed 11 times for 33 yards and 2 TDs. And, how about, we talked yesterday on the game here a little bit, talked about the Jaguars and, their potential in the game, what they need to do. We talked about Parker Washington, 7 receptions, 107 yards in that one. Khalil Shakir definitely superseded our expectations of the big game, 12 receptions, 82 yards. So Allen was strong. He also had 2 rushing touchdowns, including the near sneak 6. I think we're calling it something else there, but Allen, man, only he can get 5 yards on a quarterback sneak. Forget what those other teams are doing with the tush push. They just shove Allen down the field. They could run that play every time, it feels like. So the win there for the Bills, and that fourth quarter interception sealed the deal, as well as Lawrence underachieves again, really, in the end. There, 207 yards, 3 touchdowns, but the 2 interceptions in the game proved a bit of a difference, as well as Bills advance with the win over the Jaguars. All right, 49ers over the Eagles. Hey, this one ended up being a low-scoring game there at 42. We went over there in the game, but the 49ers, they drove 66 yards with a game-winning touchdown with 2:54 left in the game. The quarterbacks were having some problems out there for sure. One big problem I had with Jalen Hurts is that he was moving out of the pocket when he didn't need to. I think we've seen that kind of all season a little bit with Hurts. If you're trying to pinpoint something here with the inefficiencies of the Eagles offense, are there a little chubby 10-year-old kids complaining about A.J. Brown right now outside of the link after the game? Yeah, there's plenty of that going on. But for Hurts to kind of panic a little bit under pressure, we know he is good throwing on the run. He's no Caleb Williams, even though Williams is not a world champion like Hurts. Still, on the run, the balls were floating there a little bit. He should have been staying in the pocket. And I think that was a little bit of the problem, too, in the game where the passes were floating a little bit. I mean, it's already tough enough when you're standing in the pocket trying to get those passes off. But the only guy who could throw in the wind was Jawan Jennings. He threw that 29-yard touchdown pass to give the 49ers a 17-16 lead. And the Niners, they always win the first game in the playoffs. I think it just shows the class of this organization over the years, and also this version of the team here right now. We talked about it, San Francisco as a 15-1 favorite to win the Super Bowl. And, we took them. We were talking about the Razor last night because he's on it as well. And look, the best laid plans were that San Francisco was going to win those that game against the Seahawks, and they were going to host the whole shebang in San Francisco, in Santa Clara. So it didn't work out that way, but hey, you know what? They're going to be visiting division rival Seattle next week, and I'm sure some folks are going to like Seattle, but but feels like the Niners have them measured a little bit here. We'll see. We also talked about Robinson on the show yesterday, and he caught 6 passes for 111 yards and a touchdown. So we nailed the players here on the show for sure. San Francisco impressive 6 of 11 on third down, and another one where you should be looking to those playoff trends, if you will. I mean, you want to broad brush it. Look, I'm on the record. We were pretty much on all the winners there, or so far 4 of the 5 winners. We were on the Niners, but the underdog in that 3-6 game continues to roll there in that one, as we mentioned. So all right, and then late night, don't want to lament on it there with my Chargers, but unlike in the Eagles game where, I just want to add real quick, probably one of the bigger stories that, Brock Purdy survives to last another week. He's banged up, but George Kittle out for the rest of the postseason with a torn Achilles tendon there. Really a bummer there, and man, you got to rely on McCaffrey even more now, and they basically survived without a run game. McCaffrey wasn't getting it done, of course, there with the Eagles. They've got a pretty good defense against the run, as we mentioned, but McCaffrey had 6 receptions for 66 yards. Robinson, 6 for 99. Anyways, let me get to the Chargers there. Oh, man, my Chargers. Look, I wasn't confident going in. We were on the Patriots, but we were also on the under as our big play here on the show yesterday, and when we were on with the guys, it wasn't a great game at all. The offense was terrible. The Patriots pounded out the win, and Drake May pretty good. And also, if you look at some of the things we already talked about, how the Patriots, maybe you want to question this schedule a little bit or find some, but the Patriots have continued to kind of do things in a few weeks this season that only Super Bowl caliber teams do. For example, we saw earlier this season some of the things that the Patriots had done that were reminiscent of Super Bowl teams that do something historic in the regular. And it happened again last night with the performance of the Patriots, allowing no touchdowns. They had a half dozen sacks. They allowed under 100 yards rushing. They allowed under 150 yards net passing. The only other team to do this in the Super Bowl era was the great Chicago Bears team in 1985 that won the Super Bowl over the New England Patriots. They did it against the Giants in that playoff game that year. But, you got a player like May really setting the pace here with the Patriots right now. Yeah, look, they were struggling too, but the Chargers were coming in defense only, it felt like, in that game. So Patriots get it done. May big numbers in the game for sure. For a quarterback doing some running as well, as they get their first playoff win in 7 years. May 268 yards and a touchdown. He also ran impressively there for 39. Or I'm sorry. Let me see here. 66 yards on the ground, I believe, and Justin Herbert fumbled 3 times. He got beat up. He's probably in the hospital right now getting checked out from last night still, the way they couldn't protect him. And, I had to feel the slew of people on the live stream last night complaining that why don't the Chargers go out and get an offensive line? They have one. And the chat still wanted them to, perform without those key players. Just didn't make any sense. I mean, they have probably a stellar offensive lineman in Alt that has missed half the season. Hey, if you're injury prone, you're injury prone. I get that, no problem. But the Chargers had a lot of issues there heading into the game with their injuries. And hey, that's why I was on New England as a Chargers fan. It wasn't a hedge. I thought that would be a big problem here. Patriots 9-3 against the spread as a favorite this year. They outgained the Chargers. Nearly double them there on yardage, and the Chargers were just 1 of 10 on third down. Patriots are averaging 5 yards a carry, and they're another one where the trend kind of was your friend is in the last 6 years, the 2 seed going up against the 7. This is in a favorite role, but you have to look at these now 11-1. and nine straight up and 9-3 against the spread. They've always kind of taken care of business against the number 7 seeds. So New England will host the Texans Steelers winner in Foxborough next week. So a little bit of a bummer. Hopefully the Chargers can get the run game. Was really disappointed. Omarion Hampton was activated for the game, was in there 1 carry, 2 plays, and was out. Why do it? Why not have something else? The Chargers ended up with 1 running back there in the game last night with Kamani Vidal, and yeah, he's not great. So it was a little bit of a struggle there, big time for the Chargers. No running game whatsoever, and since the Patriots were able to pin their ears back a little bit, gashed Herbert all night long there. And also the Patriots had some nice plays in there. But when you're knocking the guy down basically 24 times in the game, with between the sacks, the hits, the pressures, it's just too much. So Herbert 0-3 now in his playoff career. All right. Let me hear from you in the chat. I want to say hello to everyone. Thank you for joining me here on the Morning Steam on this Monday as we get ready for the action here tonight with our games. Like I said, NBA, NHL, and some college basketball action. Mike Humphrey was here to start it off, and there's Kane in the chat, Twisted as well. Nice to have Twisted here today. He said nailed the side, the total in the Bills and 49ers game, but he might have had the Chargers too. Twisted, you picked those games. Listen to me when I'm talking Charger football, right? I wasn't thrilled. First thing we got on the stream last night, I'm looking over at poor Razor and Mike and those guys, their teams kind of got a little bit more of a I don't want to say a beat down. Chargers got beat down even worse, but the expectations might have been a little bit higher for those teams. And I'm like, oh, I don't like the setup here. We got my 2 buddies over here coming off losses. We had watched the final moments of the Eagle game backstage, and it was all written there. Okay, Steve Aleftarian's here. Parma Jake is here. Nuke, hello, and his Bills are ready to keep on going right now. The one thing they have going for them, and I was pretty hard on the Bills yesterday a little bit, but one thing you're not going to be hard on is Josh Allen. I mean, he is the best quarterback left in the postseason. He was probably the best quarterback to start the postseason this year, and if he has to put this team on his back, this is the NFL, and that's what you need is the quarterback to get it done. Boy, I felt the pain every time Josh Allen was twisted, knocked around, screwed into the ground, but he comes up still getting it done, and hopefully he'll be rested and ready and healthy for the next one here. Twisted's ready to go for tonight's game. I think he likes Pittsburgh and under here. Blake is here as well. Greg said the Eagles look bad. Just Brown, we'll see. And also what's going to happen with the Eagles and their coaching staff here. You got to wonder if, look, I think Sirianni survives, but obviously maybe a change in offensive coordinator. I don't want to say that, maybe the Eagles are a little bit, stale right now in that offense because of, I don't want to say the good fortune, but Kevin Patullo is getting ripped pretty hard today in the media. And could you come up with a new offensive coordinator, maybe a former coach who is a dynamic offensive coordinator? Yeah, some people might not want him. Maybe the Eagle fans would even be a little suspect, but could Mike McDaniel end up as the Eagles offensive coordinator, the former Dolphins head coach there? That'd be exciting. I know that. I'm still a McDaniel man, but we'll see if that chemistry is something that can be accepted in Philadelphia. But the Eagles did look pretty bad on offense. All right. Greg said he called it here. He said, look at that score. You just wait, 27-24. Basically just dividing the spread in half and putting it right on the total. But hey, that's the spread for a reason. I mean, that's what we have Greg here for. Hey, everyone, like this video, subscribe to our channel, Sports Money, here on YouTube. Fastest growing sports betting channel on YouTube. We'll be here tonight with more action as well. But right now, take that time to smash the like button, like, share, subscribe here. Sports Money Network. Twisted here talking about the winners. Greg said, trust Allen over Lawrence. Hello to Andrew K in the chat today. Bobby Max ready to go here today. We've got some good action going on here on a Monday, and was up checking out some early round tennis here overnight, and getting ready for the action here today. Let's see, who else can I find in the chat here. D Money in the chat, good morning, ready to go here with our show. And let's see, R Tom's also here this morning, ready to go. And hey, yeah, man, Kittle, that really is that one hurts, right? Because we did see, though, credit to Donjus and how he performed, right? In the absence of Kittle there a few weeks ago, Tonjes can handle it. It's just that Kittle is all world there, and that will hurt. But hey, Niners advance, and now they're playing a familiar opponent too. KJH here, nice KJH to make a comment talking about Hurts and they'll receive. Yeah, there's no doubt the Eagles' offense was the one that ended up there not getting it done. The defense felt like they did a pretty good job in that game. Yeah, Purdy was able to, and our top says he's even got to get his stuff together. But hey, I thought he was just fine, actually. The Eagles are a good team. Greg says they didn't look motivated in the game, and that is a bad look if you're not ready to go in a game like that, right? Let's see here. Yeah, that guy's a famous guy actually now with that 49er walkout. Russ last night. Also, yeah, great call. Terrell, was it you, though, also, who was talking about the assists there, too? Man, Russ was cooking there, the other Russ last night with some of the action. Hey, NBA, we had a pretty big day here on the NBA yesterday, actually. Winners on the Morning Steam show included Brooklyn and Memphis game to go over. Winner on the show here. Also, we had other winners yesterday. San Antonio and Minnesota game to go under. We also had the Heat and the Thunder over yesterday on the Morning Steam. We had the Suns to rock over the Wizards, another winner. Milwaukee and Denver under. We had plenty of winners here. Hawks and Warriors over, and the Kings over the Rockets. Man, we rolled the card pretty good on the show here yesterday. Terrell says we'll have a new champ here this year. And Greg, I kept talking about it last night. I said, what the Chargers need is to have a healthy offensive line. The chat just kept ripping into me like, you got to do it with whatever's out there. No, that's not how it works, okay? I mean, when you put the backups in there or have second stringer, you're downgrading your lineup. And so they'll be back, and hopefully Alt is not an injury-prone player, and they're both tackles, basically. I mean, I don't know, maybe the chat just doesn't follow offensive line play, which is probably the most important thing you could have. All right. And Terrell talking about Harbaugh and Will. Listen, talking to Razor last night, I don't think that as an owner of the team, I don't know if he's in favor of a guy like John Harbaugh. I think he wants to see LaFleur see this thing out, but it just felt so awkward at the end of the Packer game. So, yeah, we'll see what the Packers do. They might feel pressured to change something there a little bit last night. Also, let's see, Fernando's here. Good morning to Fernando. Public Enemies ready to go, and LALV's here, and he had cashed 5 of 6 under bets there. That's what I'm talking about. I'm all about those unders, right? So, Greg says tonight he likes Houston here. He says the defense is the X factor. And, hey, if we're in Pittsburgh, that's one thing, right? That's one thing about when you win your division. You're facing a better team here. We're going to preview it in just a moment. Lots of great comments on a Monday here. And let's see here. Terrell might not even watch the game tonight. Oh, man. I live for these games. If I didn't have this show, I guess it all correlates, right? If I didn't have this show, I'd totally be depressed. And if we didn't have sports, we wouldn't have a show. Hey, Lovable. Hi, Lovable. Nice to see Lovable in the chat there. And Canes we're I think talking ready for next week's championship game. All right, Lovable. I think that's what Lovable's saying. All right, LALB gonna roll the trifecta tonight. Greg wants to change. I just saw those interviews. Fans talking about AJ Brown there. Uh, it's always these guys, right, Terrell? It's always these players who maybe they just don't live up to expectations. Maybe they don't work hard enough, right? Because we know in the NFL, some guys they get a little bit of back pocket syndrome, and maybe they just don't go all out. Maybe they don't practice well enough. And sometimes these guys, all the talent in the world, and sometimes the players just end up being a disappointment, and then they go to another team and they're a disappointment there, and they're always supposed to be the guy that's supposed to solve it all, or move on to the next one and just keep on hurting your reputation. So we'll see. It made me comb my hair there when Terrell talked about supercuts in there. Jimmy Nose is here today as well. I'm ready to go. I'm getting through these here today. Thank you, Seth Dominis. Seth Dominis is here as well, and I really appreciate you guys being here right now as we get ready for the show. Hey everyone, you can get more picks from me every day at winnable.com/Ramon. Wasn't my best weekend. I'm definitely going to be willing to admit that. But hey, we did have some winners here yesterday, including the Hawks, plus the points against the Warriors yesterday. Also some college winners yesterday, the under in Mount St. Mary's and Siena. We also had the over with Rice and Charlotte, but I know it was a sub 500 day. So if you like this show, you can subscribe over at winnable.com/Ramon for just 37 cents a day. I always add extra days on there. If you get a week, I put 10 days. If you get a month, I put an extra week. If you get 3 days, I put it 5 days. If you get 1 day, I put 2 days. So go over and use the promo code STEAM at checkout to support me here on the channel. Keep me coming back to this show. Otherwise, just going to have to go on TikTok and be a TikTok handicapper. We don't want that. We like spending a few hours with you every day talking sports and sports betting here on the Sports Money Network. So go to winnable.com/Ramon to support me here on the channel. I guess if I could pick a bunch of winners and wouldn't even have to do a show, I don't know. What would I do? I'd have to do a show because I'm so lonely and bored. I need you guys here every day to keep me going. So subscribe over at winnable.com. All right, so there'll be coaching changes again probably here soon with some of these. John Harbaugh confirmed that he was contacted by 9 different teams, and he'll interview with 3 teams in the next week. He's already had a Zoom meeting with the Giants, who at first I was thinking Harbaugh to the Giants, but you've got to think there's something to that Green Bay situation for Harbaugh. It's kind of where he's living right now up there, and it does feel like a pretty good fit. It's just a matter of LaFleur is still the coach here at this point. They're not interviewing him at all, but we'll see what happens with the Green Bay situation here. Like I said, Razor, who has probably a good feel for this team, is kind of, I think, talking, still want to keep LaFleur there a little bit. So Baltimore interviewed Clint Kubiak on Saturday. They'll have Joe Brady in there, as well as there was one more. I wasn't sure. Robert Saleh is will interview with the Dolphins here eventually. The 49 currently with the 49ers defense. Jesse Minter, the Chargers defensive coordinator, will interview with Baltimore now that their season's over. He'll also take trips to Cleveland and Tennessee. And Stefanski interviewed with the Ravens on Saturday. Kind of funny when Baltimore and Cleveland kind of end up switching coaches. Of course, their history, of course, when Cleveland left in the middle of the night to go to Baltimore many decades ago. Tennessee also interviewed Mike McCarthy on Saturday. Jason Garrett will interview as well with Tennessee, and I think Chris Shula there, and also McDaniel could end up talking to Tennessee as well. So got some other moves. Matt Ryan was hired as the chief officer, the president of football operations with Atlanta. Sounds like a pretty good job there to have. So other things are going on there, and have more information. And let's get ready and get going with the show here as we get the action tonight, and a few more comments, and then we'll get started. All right. Could be Josh Allen, right? I mean, this is where you got to take advantage of a guy like Josh Allen, right? There's a little bit of a, mix, a flux here. Nobody knows who's really going to win the Super Bowl here right now, it feels like. I didn't know if we knew going into the wild card round, and now the teams with the buys will be coming in here, but still. Okay, also, let's see here. Nuke would probably be probably pretty hot on TikTok, Nuke. I got to tell you. I mean, that's what they, looking for stars out there. That's how you can make some money out there, be a TikTok superstar here. And right, Terrell, yeah, John Harbaugh was the one who told us he has 9 interviews. That's right. Okay. And all right, and AOD, hello there. He says maybe he was in on the take there in that game. All right, let's get started, you guys. Great job here. We had some great winners in hockey on the show yesterday too. Devils and Jets over was a winner here on the show yesterday. We also had the under in Columbus and Utah in that 3-2 overtime game, and we also had some winners in college basketball here on the show yesterday as well, including that late night winner there with, I'm trying to think. All right, let's just start. Did we have a winner? I'm not sure. All right, let's get started with the show here right now. Get right into the analysis of our first game with the Texans taking on the Steelers tonight. Monday Night Football. Pittsburgh Steelers. Need we say more going into this game? The Pittsburgh Steelers have won 23 straight Monday Night Football games at home. That's where they do their best work, man. And this is another Monday night game just because it has playoffs on it, right? I don't think that matters when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers playing at home here against the Houston Texans. Sure, the Texans are the better team coming in, but the Steelers are the division champs. They get the home game here against the wild card. Why do they call it wild card weekend when half the teams are division champs? Well, maybe because all the wild cards are playing, but see what you got in this one here tonight with the Texans on the road taking on the Steelers here. For the Texans here, they beat my Chargers last year in the first round and embarrassed them, actually, probably even more so than they were embarrassed last night, if you remember. But the Texans are in the playoffs for the third year in a row. And Houston's been in the playoffs 8 times before. They're 6-2 at home straight up, but 0-6 straight up on the road. And did I say the Pittsburgh Steelers have won 23 straight Monday night home games? Look, Stroud's I love Stroud. I think, what he's overcome and how he's, I don't know why he's, kind of gone downhill a little bit since that incredible rookie season. They're not a complete team. We know that, but they certainly look good this season, especially defensively as well. And Stroud's done an okay job. He's, 30-20 as a starter in the NFL. That's pretty good, 2-2 in the postseason. But the Texans are usually pretty good in their first playoff games of the season. They're actually 6-2 in their first game of the playoffs, but 0-6 in their second game. So, look, they're the favorites. I mean, that's understandable. Pittsburgh definitely has some roughness on the edges here coming in, but Houston was just 1-1 ATS as a road favorite this season. The Steelers, meanwhile, are in the playoffs for the third year in a row and the 5th time in 6 years, but they've lost 5 straight playoff games and haven't won a playoff game in basically since 2017. So Steelers are 5-3-1 ATS as an underdog this season coming into the game. Also, Pittsburgh won 4 of its 5 home games, 4 of its last 5 home games. They're coming in straight up. Steelers have gone under in 6 of their last 9. Now, here again, you do have a little bit of the old, this the playoff seeding trends, if you will. So, in the last 3 years, NFL wide, this is both AFC and NFC, but the number 4 seed here in this round, this would be, basically talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're the 4 seed here. They are 5-2 straight up, 6-1 ATS in this round, and they've all been underdogs. So it's a pretty good situation trend-wise here for the Steelers in this one tonight. And look, remember, there was a hook on there. It's still 3, and not need I to have to tell anybody that except for last night's game, which ended up kind of looking like a blowout. All the other games were incredibly close. So kind of have to lay against someone by 4 to win this game with the Texans on the road. Is that really a possibility here? Let me hear from you guys in the chat if you want to start getting ready to get your picks in. I know you guys have already started putting the picks in here. I like the under in this game at 38. Similar last night's game. That was a joke, having a 46 or whatever it was on the Charger game there last night. This one a little bit more wise at 38. There's some 38 and a halves even out there right now, but who really is going to move the ball, it feels like, in this game. It feels like a pretty tough go round here a little bit with these teams. For Houston, they've covered 5 of their last 7 games overall coming in. They've gone under in 12 of their last what are they this season here? 6-11 to the under overall, 2-6 to the under on the road. Steelers 2-5 to the under at home, although they are 5-3 to the over as underdogs. Houston, with this 9-game winning streak coming in, they did fail to cover in the 2 of their last 3 against Indiana and Las Vegas, but they did cover against a playoff team in the Chargers, of course, 20-16. And that's one thing I've also looked at here a little bit in the postseason is the records of these teams against fellow playoff teams. I think has been pretty indicative here a little bit, maybe of what we've seen. Now, this would be a negative for Pittsburgh here, but you look at the teams that have had success. Now, Jacksonville was 5-3, but that was a loss. But Green Bay 2-4 against playoff teams this year. Carolina 2-5 against playoff teams. Pittsburgh 1-5 against playoff teams. The worst. Only one win is the worst of any of the playoff teams against the other playoff teams in the playoffs. So it doesn't mean Pittsburgh's necessarily the worst, but they went 1-5 against playoff-bound teams this season. Pittsburgh's 4-1 ATS in their last spot, 4-1 straight up in ATS in their last 5 games. Overall, they're also 6-2 against the spread their last 8 games at home. And let's go to the chat right now. I'm already on record as taking the under, and you might hear in my voice who I like on the side here a little bit. Let's go to the chat. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on the show. And it's going to be Lovable, maybe says Pittsburgh upset here. Andrew's liking Rodgers to get the win, right? Hey, you brought him in for one reason. This is it here. And the other thing is, Rodgers has said, hey, I keep coming back to play in moments like these to get a chance in the game, right? You don't want to be on the sidelines in the postseason in your last go round here. Public Enemy likes the under as well. Greg has it as a walk-off field goal. Nick Chubb for LALB. Let me look at some of the personnel here tonight and tell you what I like in tonight's game, but let's keep going. Stroud and Rodgers for some picks tonight. Nuke trying to get a funny title for the Nuke interception prop, but we might have just to wait next year. We're running out of games. Rodgers, good winning percentage there. Don't forget he's done a MVS here over in his receptions. Look, MVS stepped up big time here with the when Metcalf was out. He got that big reception there. Steve says he likes the over, though, in this one, taking Pittsburgh. And Greg not trusting Rodgers here. And yeah, look at what Level says. I mean, you got two buys, and the other teams are non-division winners, so you call it the wild card round, right? I mean, only one team that gets the true buy, right? Lovable. I mean, and those teams aren't even that great if you think about it, right? I mean, yeah, Seattle, great season here. I don't know if we'll take them over some of the past number one seeds, maybe, right? Cold and windy tonight. Does that favor Rogers? Twisted says here, 32 degrees, 8-mile-an-hour winds. That doesn't sound too bad, but in Pittsburgh, it does get a little goofy sometimes. Talked about it a little bit last night, and you heard Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth talking about it as well. The kicking surface in Pittsburgh, even Razor, I think he was saying not so thrilled about it. You know, Kaimi Fairbairn has been terrific with the kicking, but you know, Boswell, the miss there a little bit. We never misses there, but Fairbairn for LALB, that's okay. Barr likes Pittsburgh, and Texans, right? They always played that early game. I was on one of the shows, right, where I was like, oh, the Texans, are we playing that Saturday morning game there? But no, not this time. But let's put them on Monday Night Football against Pittsburgh Steelers that have won 23 games in a row at home on Monday night. 9 legacy Steelers on the money line here. LALB. Going to go under City here, it looks like. Greg says Houston could cover this spread. He likes them here. And how about Kenneth Gainwell? If there's one player tonight that you've got to look at, maybe to have the game here, it feels like, because I'm not really hype on any of the offense here. If I'm going to be on the under, and I think I can only really go forward with one player tonight, and then and I don't want to, tip my hand on some of the stuff when we do the show tonight. But look, it's a tough matchup for Nico Collins and Jaden Higgins. I love these guys. I mean, Higgins has really stepped up too. But Christian Kirk continues to kind of be a favorite guy of CJ Stroud, and his numbers are pretty low for how much work or targets could be out there for Kirk tonight. So Kirk is really the only guy where I'm probably going relatively modest on the prop scene tonight. Now, I do think Stroud can, run his way and pass his way and maybe get to his yardages, but I don't know if I can totally go over with him. But I also like the Texans receivers over the Steelers receivers. If you look at the depth here, I think Stroud goes into this game with certainly one of the best receiving cores he's had. Between the injuries, sometimes he's really left to dry out there a little bit. He's had guys of these star receivers kind of injured sometimes. Nico's out sometimes, and they're also have Xavier Hutchinson, who has stepped up in moments, and also Noel. Remember, Noel's already scored here a couple of times late season. This is a pretty deep situation here, and I think he might have enough receivers to kind of spread it around a little bit, and that may help him a little bit. Also, Dalton Schultz, you got to think he's got an okay matchup. I don't think I'm ready to go all in on an over with him either, but Schultz is certainly a positive. Now, the guys that I'd be down on in this game for Houston will be the running backs, because I got the Steelers as a top 5 rushing defense coming in. So I probably have the down arrow here on Chubb, on Marks in this game there. But if Texans do establish the run and are getting off on them, they'll win this game and maybe even cover. But that's going to be the key, is running the ball for Houston. And I'm not sure that they can do that actually. For the Steelers, tough matchup for their receivers. The Texans definitely have guys within the top 10 defending pass catchers. So I'm a little bit down on DK. Adam Thielen, I mean, okay, so he's had a little bit of a surge and a comeback, but, as a WR2 here, I don't know. And for Calvin Austin, I'm kind of down on him here as well. MVS, I'm just comparing him to the Texans receivers. I really like the Texans receiver group over the Steeler receiver group. Now, Freiermuth has an okay matchup. I think Freiermuth, if the Steelers do win, Muth will be the guy, I feel like, here to maybe lead the way in this game. So that's really the guy I would look for. And, of course, Kenneth Gainwell. I mean, LALB said anytime TD. I think Kenneth Gainwell at the end of this game tonight, I think Kenneth Gainwell is going to be the guy. He'll be the guy maybe getting the post-game interview. Well, Aaron Rodgers, of course, too. But I think if they say, because of his rapport with Gainwell tonight, Texans better focus on this guy because he has been dynamic really over the last several weeks. Yeah, Jalen Warren is WR1, but he's the running back. Gainwell, he'll get in the slot. He's moving around everywhere, and then he gets the ball and keeps doing it. So Gainwell here tonight, he's got to be my player to get the work done. Robert, like in Houston, he'll lay those points. They do have this great defense, and like I said, look, the Steelers come in here. They're the team that's earned the home game because of, the division winner. And it's not like they were a division winner like, Carolina going 8-7. They were 10-7. You guys already mentioned in the chat Rodgers' winning record this year. Our tops, like in Houston, though, here. And Greg says they really have a chance to go down. Right, Nuke? When was the last time? If it's been 23 consecutive Monday night wins at home, all right, you'd have to say, when was the last time the Steelers even lost a Monday night home game? Oh, my gosh. Does ChatGPT know? I don't know. I'll see, but maybe chat has the answer. Let's punch it in and see if it might get searched enough that it can't be on there. October 14th, 1991, it says here they were defeated 23-20 by the Giants. It was so long ago. It was at Three Rivers Stadium, of course, and that is the most recent loss. So since that loss, they've been gone through even with the Steelers and their three coaches over the years. So incredible. How about marks for an anytime touchdown for LALB? And Stroud, I'm a big fan of Stroud, mostly because of his story. I mean, come on. Here's a guy whose mom, wasn't she was a successful mom, that's for sure. Stroud was and his family was living on top of a storage plate, like self-storage unit. They knew the owner of it and were able to kind of live on top of this while he was kind of just getting started. Things got better for Stroud, but what happened, Stroud, they made sure they moved him into a good football program in high school, and of course he had a great time in college as well. So I think right there itself, the character of Stroud, and I think that's why he's the type of person that he is. I mean, extremely humble, thoughtful, and never hear him popping off something stupid. I mean, it's when you've gone, everybody's had a tough, people have tough, maybe even tougher growing up, but some kids come to accept terms too, and it makes them a tougher player. I think that's your man, CJ Stroud. I think the world of him. And these guys, some of these young quarterbacks, some of them got kicked to the curb, but also some of them are still in their mid-20s. And we talk about how, look at guys like Rodgers and these veterans, right? They can last a long time. So I think CJ Stroud is still heading for great things with this team, especially with the way Houston is. Win or loss tonight, this program's going the right direction. I mean, they're the division winners here. I mean, they're the better record here coming into this game. So, all right. Let's see what else. We're almost done, I think, with this one, but we're taking our time on it because we want to maybe get your plays here. Thank you. Look at this. See, Marks and Chubb. See, LALB's got Houston to run all over Pittsburgh there a little bit with those guys. And if that's the case, then this is a Houston win. And I'm not sure that is going to happen, but LALB thinks so. Hey, Eric Acevedo there. He's got Houston and under. Hello to Eric in the chat today. Thanks for popping in and saying hi. And let's see. Greg says if Houston gets out there at all, it's going to be trouble for them. So incredible. All right, yeah, I can't make that stat up there for sure. I mean, 1991. Where was I in 1991? Let's see. Let's see. I was 23. I remember a little bit. All right. Hey, a little bit of breaking news here right now. Let me see if we can get this. We might have breaking news here right now. Let's see what's going on here.
Notice.
Let's make sure we get the story right, and then we're gonna, I think, break in here with some breaking news, which is always great here on a Monday.
Critical notice.
All right, here we go. Let's go to breaking news right now. All right, a little breaking news here this morning as we continue to get our transfer commitments from some of the biggest players and biggest stars of college football. And these guys make some money, don't they? How about the University of Oregon? They won the contest here for Dylan Raiola, the former Nebraska quarterback, the Patrick Mahomes wannabe. He has committed here to go to the University of Oregon right now. You saw how close Oregon came to the national championship. They're going to have one of the best quarterbacks in the country here next year as Dylan Raiola from Nebraska is going to be headed to Eugene to put on the Ducks colors here. How about that? So big news here this morning is Raiola going to Oregon to lead the Oregon Ducks next season. One of the biggest names of the transfer portal here. Sucks for Nebraska if you think about it. I mean, Nebraska's I love Nebraska football. I'm maybe more jealous of Oregon than anything, but when you got Dan Lanning, Mr. Cool there it is, just in here. It's funny because when you think about it here, what is going to with Moore here, right? What is Moore gonna? What's going on with Moore in that situation here? You have to think at this point. We'll await his decision here. Does that, what does that mean for Dante Moore here at this point? So we'll have to see here a little bit and what he ends up doing. He's already projected as a top 5 NFL pick. So, okay, good breaking news right there for sure. Okay, let's see here. Any other comments there? Houston defense will create havoc. VAR was 11. LALB was in high school. At 23, I know my job was, one of my jobs, I was working as a reporter, certainly there, covering high school games and some pro college games as well as a young sports writer, but also was managing a sports restaurant at the time and getting all the games on those big satellite dishes. I remember it like it was yesterday. All right, I guess that's it for the game tonight with Pitts. I'll take the under here, but I'm thinking, man, 23 straight Monday night games at home. Aaron Rodgers, watch out, Aaron Rodgers. They might get the calls here too. So join us tonight here on the Sports Money Network in conjunction with Razor Sharp Picks, as we'll have the coverage here with Razor for the last wild card game here, and then one more Monday night game. I think we'll probably get together for the national championship, and then that'll be it for Monday night football season. And we come down the last couple of games here of the season. All right, we're going to go to the NBA next. We've got an NBA card here tonight of 6 games. And we'll take a look here and get it started with the Utah Jazz taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers here. The Jazz coming off of a 150 to 95. Is that right? 150 to 95 loss in that. Let's see. Was that the last game? Trying to remember here. Let me dial up my notes. In this one, Utah lost 150 to 95 against the Charlotte Hornets of all teams. No, it wasn't against the Celtics. It wasn't against the Thunder. It wasn't against the Lakers. It was against the Charlotte Hornets. 150 to 95. Utah lost the last game that they played. They've lost here a few games in a row here. Before that, they had a win over Dallas, but they were on a little bit of a losing streak before that. For the Cavaliers here, they come in off of a 146-134 win over Minnesota. Man, this feels like it's going to have some points. 250 and a half? Hold on, really? Man, that's a pretty big number. Utah's not that good, are they, to score here? You've got to figure right now. I mean, what is it going to be? 131 to 116 or something, like 131, 118? There. Is that really going to happen here tonight? Usually, when you get something like this, right, it goes south on them, right? This is too high. It feels like a little bit, but hey, Cleveland continues to be one of the worst favorites in the league. I know it's going to be hard if you want to get on the Cavaliers here the Jazz here after seeing that embarrassing loss by 55 points, but that was just one game, and of course they were without their star player in that game, and it does feel like that the Jazz are a team right now that when Markkanen's in the lineup, they just have a lot better chance. And when he's not, it goes haywire. It feels like when he's missing, the team is not capable of covering the spreads. And it feels like I wish I did the research on that stat to see what their spread record is with or without Markkanen, because it does seem like he's one player where it does make a huge difference here. So, look, the Cavaliers are the worst favorite going in the league. Yeah, they're 22 and 18 straight up, but we've made fun of them all season. 13 and 27 spread record, 10 and 23 as a favorite, and 7 and 16 ATS at home. That's not great here. At least the Utah Jazz come in a little bit rested here in this one. Cleveland had back-to-back games against Minnesota. They lost to Minnesota, then came back and beat them at home in a little bit of revenge. Look, Cleveland lost to Indiana on the road, 120 to 116 just a couple of games ago. So, Indiana's no good. We know that. So if they can get motivated, I guess they could win by 13 points or so. But Utah's still 21 and 17 against the spread and 18 and 16 against the spread as a dog. I know the Sharps are probably still going to want to take the favorite here in this one, but let's see what you have to say in today's opener with Utah taking on Cleveland here tonight. The spread has gone up for sure. Let's see what it opened at. Oh, no, it opened 12 and a half. In fact, it opened 13 and a half at some books. So I guess it hasn't really gone up, if you will. But I'm willing to take the points again here. I think it could be a lost Monday night here. You just got a Utah team coming in. Markkanen is in the lineup tonight. So give me the Jazz plus 13 points. I'll take them here in this one. There are some injuries of note here in this one as well that certainly can be considered. For Cleveland, Dean Wade, he's out. For the Jazz, Ace Bailey questionable. Georges Yang is out as well. Give me the Jazz here in this one. We'll go to the chat and see what you guys have here tonight. We'll look at some of the trends with these teams as well, so stay tuned. For Utah here, they've lost 6 of their last 7 games. They've also gone 1-6 against Cleveland, 2-6 against Cleveland, the last 8 games against them. Cleveland, though, coming in here 1-4 ATS. Cleveland's won 5 of their last 6 at home and 5 of their last 7 overall. 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams have gone over, and Utah's gone over in 13 of their last 19 games overall. So Cleveland continues to be just, what can I say? They're just not great against the spread. They just can't get it done. They did get it done last game against Minnesota, but that only broke a spread losing streak. Okay, let's see what we got here with... I think, are these for this game? That might have been the football game. I'm not sure here. Uh, Seth says they're only getting 13 points. I think he thinks that's not enough here. LALB liking the under here on this inflated total. Greg says Cleveland will bounce back strong. Well, they won last game, so I don't know where they're bouncing back from. Let's see. Mike says we are at 250 here right now. All right, and let's see here. Terrell says it'll be by 75 points. I'll say Markkinen's in the lineup tonight, and that makes a big difference. Greg thinks I'm out of my mind here. You guys are out of your mind for taking the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, you're hitting only 30% of your bets, taking Cleveland as a favorite, favorite this year. Not even that. 28% Cleveland covering as a favorite this year. Are you guys awake out there? Public Enemy's on the Jazz in this one. Bar's on Cleveland. Public Enemy likes all dogs here on Monday. So, hey, maybe they will lose by 75, but you guys are already broke for betting Cleveland here this season. Even still, with this recent surge, winning 5 of their last 7, 5 of their last 6 at home, they're still 1-4 ATS. So, I know you guys just picking money lines out there. Hey, let's go to the next one here before I get on tilt. Boston on the road. Oh, what's going on with the Celtics? I think I just invented a new font there. Celtics. I like to shout it. Celtics at Pacers. Celtics favored on the road here by 6, maybe 6.5 in this one, 225.5. Here's another one. I'm sure you guys love the Celtics in this one. You love, well, I'll give the Celtics a little more credit. They're at least cover some spreads. 12-7 against the spread on the road. Pacers 12-9 against the spread at home here in this one. Maybe this one looks one-sided to you guys as well, but usually this is a game where Boston's been caught sleepwalking here in the past. Although, no doubt, Pacers still having a crummy year at this point with no end in sight. Still, they've won 2 in a row here right now. They've had a couple of streaks here right this season, and now they've just won over Charlotte and Miami here. They've covered 3 in a row. Indiana's 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 games, despite going 2-13 against the spread overall. Boston 13-7 though ATS in their last 20 games. They're coming in off of a loss to San Antonio the other night, 100-95. We were on San Antonio in that game. Boston, better team spread-wise here, 21-17 overall ATS, but Indiana has had some home spread success and success as an underdog as well. 2 teams have already met a couple of times this season. Boston won both of them. They did not cover at home, laying 11.5, but they did cover here, laying 8.5 in a 140-122 win on Boxing Day. Meanwhile, here, both teams pretty heavy trends to the under. Both the teams are combined 32-45 to the under. Indiana's gone under in 5 of their last 6. Boston's 8-11 to the under on the road and 11-14 to the under as a favorite. Meanwhile, Indiana 14-20 to the under as a dog, 9-12 to the under at home. However, 9 of the last 11 meetings between these 2 teams have gone over, and you see the total here has actually gone up from 224 to 226. So maybe a little bit of that head-to-head has worked its way in here. Do you guys think it'll also be like this here today? Oh man, I'm not so sure. I'm going to take the under here in this one at 226. Now that it's gone up a couple of points, I think maybe the short-term trends might outweigh the season's history here in this one, and I'm going to try the under with Boston and Indiana here in this one as my play. Let's see what you guys have. Boston's just 3-8 ATS in the last 11 meetings against the Pacers overall. Pacers were better before, so maybe there was some of that in there, and we know they played some classic matchups here within the last couple of years, Indiana and Boston. So let's see, though, how you guys have it here today. Go to the comments. All right. I think Terrell says it'll be a player Oh, no, he means in that wild game. Yeah. And Greg, they beat him by more than that. They beat him by 55. I think it was 150 to 95. Greg here liking Boston, but I think he likes the Pacers on the spread. Barr likes the Celts here. Public Enemy on the under, and shouldn't bury the lead here, obviously. But Jaylen Brown is out of this game for the Boston Celtics, hence the 6-point spread here today. So thanks a lot, Public Enemy. Almost blew that one. Indiana played Boston good at home in that game. Yeah, they covered the spread in that one. LALB liking the over, though, in this one. And Derek White, his props get moved up because of Brown's absence. Says that his 20-point prop is minus 400 here. Hauser is questionable. Minot still out for the Pacers. Nemhard questionable. Jackson out. Matterin out as well here in this one. I'm taking the under at 226. Next up, the Sixers and the Raptors playing again. Is this the fifth day in a row these two teams have played? I don't know. Maybe it just seemed like I was watching that game less than 24 hours ago when the Toronto, what are they called? The Raptors won 116 to 115 over the Sixers. Toronto got the win. Scotty Barnes there at the end of the game he made the basket, but they ended up calling it a foul, no basket. He made one free throw, and he tossed the last one up there. That was actually in overtime after the Toronto Raptors made a comeback there in the fourth quarter. Philadelphia stomped Toronto in the third quarter to take a big lead, but they came back in the fourth quarter. Toronto turned basically a 10-point deficit into an 8-point lead heading into the fourth quarter, and then turned it around, and in the fourth quarter, Toronto gets the win by 1 point with Barnes there with the key play at the end of the game. For Toronto here, they've actually come in here off of the loss here. Let me get this straight here. Whoops. What was the final? 116 to 115. There we go. 116, 115 was a very closely rated game spread-wise as well. The spread had gone down from 4 to 1, so it landed almost perfectly on the number. The Sixers were actually the 1-point favorite. Toronto wins by 1, but nonetheless, there was a pretty big move on Toronto in that game from 4 down to 1. For Philadelphia here, they continue to be one of the best road spread teams in the NBA, as well as one of the best spread teams overall, but they're 13-4-1 ATS on the road. Meanwhile, for Toronto, just 9-12 ATS at home. Coming into this one, I think you can look at the season series here between these semi-frequent opponents, especially here playing for the second consecutive night here in Toronto. Philadelphia just 1-6 ATS in the last 7 games against the Raptors. Now, you might immediately jump on it here and say, man, the Raptors won yesterday in a wild finish that maybe the Sixers could sum it up in here and win this one on the road. But you're still in Toronto. It's a pretty tough place to play. And I want to hear from you in the chat. Got Embiid questionable, Paul George questionable. That's going to throw a lot of question marks into this game already for us to make an educated opinion here a little bit with those guys. But feels like Embiid might not make it here today. We'll see. For the Raptors, Jacoby Walter questionable, Brandon Ingram questionable, RJ Barrett questionable, Hepburn is out. So it does feel like the Raptors are missing some pieces as well there. So let's see how you guys have it here. For Philadelphia here, they have gone 5-2 straight up and against the spread in their last 7 games overall. Here, Toronto's 4-1 straight up in ATS in their last 5. So both teams coming in here in pretty okay form for sure. Philly's gone over in 4 of their last 5. Toronto's gone under in 10 of their last 15. But 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams have gone over. Last night's game, the 116-115 game, did go well over the 219.5 as this series like I said, I think it's actually 5 of 6 here. I just didn't update my notes, but basically it's 5 straight overs between the two teams in this series. And hey, you're dealing with a 220 here right now. It sounds achievable, but what do you think of how it rates to being a back-to-back game, and will that affect the scoring punch, if you will, here in this one? In fact, I'm showing it up to 221.5 in a few spots right now. So let me hear from you in the chat as we take a look at this one with you guys. Here we go. All right. And let's see here. Greg said the spread was 2 yesterday, and the spread's 2 here pretty much again today. The Public Enemy says Embiid is playing. He thinks PG comes back as well. Raptors got the last one. The 76ers will get this one. Sounds like a pretty popular theme today, I'm sure, for a lot of people. You see Robert McCormick liking the Sixers here as well. Greg likes the Sixers here. LALB likes the Sixers. It's all Sixers in the chat tonight. Philly easy. They should have won yesterday, but they didn't. Barr likes the under here. Our Tops likes the under as well. And Terrell says without Toronto and their player props right now, got to just see with RJ Barrett. I mean, he's the trigger guy, I think, in this lineup. Yeah, BI also, but Greg says that Philly could really stomp him here. Robert likes the over tonight in this one. I'm with Robert. I like the over tonight between Toronto and Philly. When I think of the the comeback, if you will, coming back the next night, I think it's defense that is supposed to suffer anyway. You guys might think it of the other way, but Greg says no Embiid, no problem. He's one of those guys that thinks they're probably better without him in the lineup. LALB likes the Sixers here. I'll take the over in this one at 221.5. All right, the Brooklyn Nets are taking on the Dallas. Wasn't this an NBA Finals one time? The Nets and the Mavericks. The Nets coming in here 11-25. The Mavs are 14-25. Nets have lost 3 straight coming into this one with losses to Memphis, the Clippers, and Orlando. Dallas has lost 2 in a row to Utah and Chicago. They're struggling a little bit here as well. Dallas just 2-10 against the spread as a favorite this season, and they're favored here by 4. That's bad. However, Dallas is 11-9 against the spread at home. Mostly it's been a road favorite, believe it or not, in a lot of those roles. For Brooklyn here, they're 9-7 ATS on the road. Both teams a pretty hardcore under, but you talk about Dallas, 2-10 against the spread as a favorite. They're also 2-10 to the under as a favorite, so it's pretty much predictable what happens when they're a favorite. They don't score points. That's where they've had their problem. Now the Nets are going to come in. They're not going to exactly going to bring any defense, but they're still an underdog here. So let's hear from you in the chat in this interesting game between Brooklyn and Dallas here. Brooklyn's gone under in 4 of their last 6 games. Dallas has gone under in 5 straight. 4 of the last 5 meetings have gone over in this series. They've already played their first meeting of the season. Dallas won it in 119-111 in Dallas here. Let's see, is that right? Okay, that can't be right. I might have taken this note down wrong here, but Dallas did win the last meeting, I'm pretty sure, between the two back in December. Dallas is just 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 games overall. They've lost 6 of their last 8 games coming in. For Brooklyn here, they are just 1-7 straight up against the Mavericks in the last 8 meetings between the two, and Brooklyn's lost 6 of their last 7 overall. But it should be noted, Brooklyn is 8-3 against the spread their last 11 games on the road. So hey, maybe that is where they're playing their best ball. They're 9-7 ATS on the road, and these guys aren't very good. So they've been able to hang in there and get it done, maybe against subpar competition. 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams have gone over, but forget about it. I've got to take the under in this one with Brooklyn and Dallas tonight for sure. I mean, come on. Dallas doesn't cover and they go under every time. Same result every game. Let's go to the chat and see what you guys have in this one. All right. Jerry said Houston. Oh, he was talking about that other game. Thank you, Jerry. Really appreciate that. All right, Seth. Seth, I got this sheet of notes right here too that I can't even. I have excellent penmanship, but uh, when you're writing so many little like trends down, I kind of write them in like I probably should have a bigger sheet, but then we'd be moving. I already have sheets flying all over the place, so and then I do type in a little bit of a script behind the, like I'll be looking at the screen. Sometimes I have the cheat sheet over here and I have a script right here, and then I'll put the script on and try to look right at the camera like a pro. But you know what? Hey, I'm never making it to ESPN, and why would I want to? And I've got 5 dozen of you here right now watching me on the Sports Money Network. Public Enemy liking the Nets here in this one. Greg says Brooklyn traveling and tired. Brooklyn, of course, lost at Memphis last night, 103-98. So they are on the back-to-back. That also is probably a pretty big factor for everyone to fade Brooklyn here. But again, Dallas really slumping here right now, not covering anything. Thanks. Oh, Terrell, thanks. Oh, man. All right. Oh, you know what? You're right. That's interesting. Think about that. Those early 2000s. Yeah, you're right, Terrell. Over here for Seth Sancho in there. He's talking his football picks in there. Thank you, Sancho. LALV here on the over in this one. Net says take the points. It depends who's playing. Okay, let's take a look, see if we can get the injury report out there. Still question marks here. We know who isn't playing, and that's Anthony Davis tonight. He's got that broken hand. He's going to be sidelined for a while here. Let the jokes come in on Anthony Davis, but I think we all would have broke our hand on that play the way it looked there. Also, Brandon Williams doubtful, PJ Washington doubtful for the Mavericks. For the Nets, Michael Porter Jr. questionable, Drake Powell questionable, Zaire Williams questionable as well. So there are some missing parts here for sure. All right, and some game time decisions here. Dallas and the under there. Let's see, Greg here. LALP's on the Mavs. Robert's on the Nets tonight. Here's Mike Humphrey on the under. Barr's on the Mavs. Cam Thomas, he is back. He is back, Terrell. He's been back with the team. If you want, let me see here, though. I think you're requesting specifically whether he's starting or coming in off the bench. Is that right here? So tonight for the Nets, let's see here. I think he'll be off the bench here tonight. It looks like Demon Man, Porter. We'll have to see though. I think we're still waiting. I think it's all mixed in there with the Porter. We gotta see what Porter's up to. So I guess I can't really proceed. If you like the under, take the Nets. That's exactly, Fernando, that is exactly what you have to do here. I think look, we talk a lot about, you know what, these pros, you don't want to play parlays, here or whatever. I think this is a spot where, look, I'm not saying if you like opposite what I do, but, and you don't put the whole play on a parlay. People say, we don't like basketball teasers. Well, if you think you have an advantage, especially in a situation like this, and look, I'm not pointing specifically to this trend, but I love trends like this. When the team is 2-10 against the spread as a favorite, and they're 2-10 exactly in those games, the 2 games that they won were the over games, and the 2 that they lost were under. Then this is one. This is a type of game where you do take the a parlay or something in there. It's not a dead fast rule, but that's what I like to do, is sprinkle a little parlay action. That's the thing. You would be surprised, and I don't claim to know a lot of pros, but one thing I do follow, and I think it's a very interesting app, is the Juice Reel app. When they have, it's kind of like one of those. There's some others like it too, but I don't think there's anything like Juice Reel, where people have all their bets. You sync your bets into the app, and then you can actually look at. People say also, even in our chat, sometimes we got a smart chat. but sometimes they'll say, you don't even know if these percentages are right, that are being reported. But if you look at the juice reel there, you can really, because you have to put your bets in and then you sync the bets and it gives you the actual result. For example, here, let me show you, for example, what it looks like here in the Pittsburgh game against New Orleans, where all the bets in the juice reel are synced up, and it kind of gives you a peek of where all the bets are at. That all the people have sunk in there. And then you can kind of squeeze it here a little bit and even get more specific. You move the arrow here a little bit and you kind of see, you can kind of like take a bigger sample size of winning bets or a smaller sample size of winning bets. And I think this is a great tool for actual bets. Yes, it's not giving you a wide scope, but it gives you such an accurate scope too, though, of real betting material. Like, look at here, you have 9,100 bets, and I know a lot of the sites have bigger, like, I use Sports Insights, I use Don Best, where, you have the percentages and you even have the number of bets. And, in Sports Insights, they say, we've got, 11 specific books that we have in there. But you look at the numbers there, right? Like, look at this Pittsburgh spread betting here. The average bet on Pittsburgh, $80. The average bet on the Texans, $68. And you see all those dots in there for the actual bets themselves. I think maybe even more interesting here to show kind of maybe one of the basketball games, because there's so many bets right there. But it also, when you go to those, it shows you like the best bettors and everything too. And you can kind of take a sneak peek at look. And for some of these basketball games, for example, especially early on here, what game are we looking at here right now? The Nets and the Mavericks, for example. So the bets are going to be a little bit less sprinkly, if you know what I mean. So you can see just a handful of bets coming in here right now, but they'll show you like the top bettors are actually on Brooklyn here, 38%, and that's using the top, say 27% right there. And then back on the worst bets, there's more Dallas bets in there. And so it's a real interesting tool, Juice Reel. And I don't have a deal with them or anything, but I've talked to the CEO a few times and or exchanged some emails with him anyway, and investigated it a little bit. And ironically enough, so look at, you have both the average on this game. The average bet is $22 there, with that 10,000 in the game there a little bit. So I think it's just a real interesting tool that I like to play around with a little bit at the Juice Reel. Okay, and then talking about what we were talking about there with Fernando, the under and the Nets. Okay, Flag can have a strong game here. Fernando says Cam Thomas, yep, he's off that injury list for sure. Mr. Weskers, yeah, well, I still am Mr. Weskers. I got my little high school website that I still work on every day, writing up all kinds of sports. Thank goodness for the AI, though, helping me do the work a little bit. But I got my little website there that I cover the high school teams in my area. I just popped it up right there, call it East County Sports. And I've got, little headlines and everything. So I have a good time with that. The one that I recently did here, I wrote a story on, because one of my area guys, remember I've talked about Scott. I had a story on Highlander, Deontay Scott, when he was the MVP of the Cotton Bowl. All right, I'm just taking my time showing you my little life here. Davis is going to be hurt for a while. It's going to be hard to trade him now. Right now, I guess you could do it in a way. And you're wrong, Mississippi quarterback. What is that one, Jerry? Miss quarterback. I don't know what that is, Jerry. Let me know what's going on in there. Okay, yeah, Mr. Weskers, he doesn't want his bets being tracked, okay? He'll tell you who he's on. Yeah, that's just it. You have to commit. So it's not like, tracking everybody's, or you have to be in there. But I like it. It gives you great percentages, shows you where your strengths are too. So, all right. LALB doesn't bet NBA until 30 minutes before the game. I like to try to anticipate the injuries myself, actually, and try to be ahead of the public instead of a reactionary Public haven't doing good in the playoffs, says Sancho. Brooklyn 4-9 legacy. All right, let's go to the next one here. Oh boy, the Kings are taking on the Lakers tonight. Well, at least the Lakers found somebody hopefully they can beat right now. They have their own set of few injuries here for the Lakers coming in, but man, they're 9-point favorites here. Total's gone up here, 228 and a half here right now. And maybe a 9-point favorite. Austin Reeves still out. That's kind of the big one for the Lakers. But Rui Hachimura, he is in there. He is probable for the Lakers tonight. You know, you could think about LeBron. You could think about Luka. You could even think about Austin Reeves. Rui Hachimura is the one that makes the Lakers go. If you look at the winning percentage when he's in and out of the lineup, when he's out, the Lakers not so good. When he's in, Lakers good. So I don't know. Rui Hachimura might be the best player on the Lakers. For the Kings, Schroeder, he's out. I still think he's out with that suspension. Was it a 2-game suspension? Keegan Murray out as well here in this one. So look, Lakers a 9-point favorite, but they are against their favorite whipping boy here, the Sacramento Kings. Can I even use that term? As Lakers here have won and covered 6 straight meetings against the Kings overall. Lakers are just 1-4 against the spread their last 5 games on the road. Kings are just 2-6 against the spread in their last 8, 1-7 straight up. Kings have gone under in 5 straight at home. Lakers have gone under in 4 of their last 5 coming into this one. So tough to say here when the Lakers, man, you have to lay 9 points, but they sure do like picking on the Kings a little bit, don't they? Whenever they can. Can you stomach laying 9 points here on the road with the Lakers team that, look, they're not exactly knocking them dead here against the spread as a favorite, but they do own Sacramento kind of in this series here right now. Lakers are 11-9 against the spread as a favorite, 11-8 against the spread on the road. The Kings are just bad, period. They've got a poor win-loss record and a poor spread record too. 14-25 ATS, 13-23, basically the same thing. They're underdogs every game, but also 7-12 ATS at home. So, okay, I'll do it. I'll take the Lakers here. I'll take the Lakers. Got to take somebody. I don't think I want the Kings. Rui Hachimura's in after all, but all they got to do is win the game. I think that's kind of the thing there. So maybe double digits might be a little hard, but on this show, I'm going to take them. 3 games. Thank you, Terrell. You always have the answer for me. Thank you so much for always being there for me. Lakers for Greg here. I think he likes to cover the spread there. Mr. Weskers forgets that Schroeder's on a team still. All right, let's see. Kings to cover here because the Lakers, they aren't playing much defense. We know that. 9 legacy will take the Lakers. Greg's on the Lakers and the under. LALB has some props here, it looks like right now. And Sancho says Kings against the spread as well. And how about LaRavia for Terrell? Oh, man, LaRavia, he's the best player on the Lakers. I'll take the Lakers, I guess, here. Last game up. Hornets taking on the Clippers tonight with, the Clippers are favored by 4.5, 223.5. So are the bad Clippers back? I mean, you'd think if we got the Clippers of the last couple of weeks, they'd be favored by double digits here. Maybe because the records are similar and the Hornets, shown a penchant for covering a few games here of late. 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games overall. Actually, the Hornets have been nice. Clippers, meanwhile, though, have won 9 of their last 11, covered 9 of their last 11. They had a couple clunky ones in here against the Knicks, against Boston, but those are good teams. That was the only really interruptions during this massive streak. Remember, like I said, before that Boston game, they had won and covered basically 6 games in a row, winning the games themselves by 20 points. But Charlotte's been kind of a cover machine. Of course, they're coming off that 55-point win over the Utah Jazz. So they've been covering numbers for sure, but they're getting 4.5 here. 5 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams have gone over. Charlotte's lost 10 straight games to the Clippers. That's before any kind of junky records here. Charlotte 5-10 though ATS in their last 15 against the Clippers. Charlotte's gone under in 4 of their last 5 games. Coming into this one, the two teams did meet back in November. Clippers won it, of course, 131-116. Got the money. Charlotte 11-21 as an under as an underdog. Clippers are shaded a little bit under as well, even though this series continues to go over. I got to lay it with the Clippers here. If they have even turned it around even a little bit right now, the spread to me has to be a little bit low. I think we're just basing the spread here currently on maybe their current records here. I don't know if I know the books will consider that the Clippers have been much, much hotter of late, but also you got to consider the Hornets have done a nice job here. But the Clippers have covered 6 of their last 7 at home, and I'm going to take them here tonight over the Hornets. I'm going to lay 4.5 in this one. Let's go to the chat here with you guys and see what you got here. All right, it's going to be Mr. Weskers can't respect the Hornets. Greg's got this one pretty much right on the spread, it looks like. Mike says the Lakers are going nowhere with Luka right now. Mike, I would say this. So I think Luka is a motivation player. Unfortunately, that kind of sucks for long term, especially if you want to try to get a good spot in the playoffs, kind of like a LeBron situation, right? You got two guys, kind of the same philosophy, just get into the playoffs there a little bit. But I don't know. When Luka's on his game in a big game, man, it is tough to stop him there sometimes. Hornets on the spread here. Terrell says, how do you win by 55 and then you're an underdog? Leonard here, and check the injury status here for sure of this game. There are some notables. Kawhi is questionable right now, so that has to be a factor. In fact, I think that if you do like the Clippers, you would take him now because if he is in, it will only go up. For the Hornets here, Sexton questionable. Connaughton, he's questionable as well. Plumlee remains out right now. Miles Bridges probable. LALB on the Clippers. Roberts on the Hornets in this one. Clippers under here for Public Enemy and under for LALB. And Kane says Clippers injuries. Harden can't do it by himself there. Bogdanovich remains out as well. All right, I'll take the Clips here in this one. That's it for the NBA. Let's go to some college ball here next. Since Mr. Weskers is with us in the chat, we have to go to college next. That's just the rules. Let's take it. This is tough. All right, we're on it's not even mid-major Monday. I mean, this is, basically the lowest conferences Monday. What could we call it? Low conference Monday, bad conference Monday. I don't want to call it like that. They're all great conferences in their own way, especially these conferences. Let's go to the Patriot League, first of all, for their big game of the early part of the season. What we're going to do, hopefully, is look at the best games here. And there are some big ones today in some of these conferences here. You got the Patriot League game here tonight with Navy and American. You look at the standings right now in the Patriot League. Navy is in first place. They're 4-0. American is with a big group, 5 teams at 2-2. Colgate's in second place right now, so still a pretty big one. In fact, Navy's moved, I think, here to a 2.5-point favorite on some widely reported steam here. Actually, has moved the midshipman to 2.5 now, and the total in this one is 141. In fact, I'm showing Bovada has now snuck it up here to 3 minus 0.5 in this matchup. You guys with me here? I'm my computer's hanging here a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm still on the air here. Okay. Yep, I think you're still there. We got 50 of you in here today joining me on the morning steam. All right, Navy's on a pretty good winning streak here right now coming in. They're taking on all comers now that they're in conference play. They're kind of rolling these guys. They're lost, of course, led by Benini and Kehoe. I think they, the one team that has 2 quality players here in this conference. American, they got a pretty good player in Madden Collins as well, but Navy here, in first place here. Yeah, they're on the road. They took the steam. I think they could probably win this one too and maybe get the money, but maybe I can look at the total here. Let's see if you guys like this one today here. Again, these are tough, but if you've looked at a few games here, if you've looked at any college games, you've certainly looked at this one already. Navy's won 8 straight games coming in. They've also won 11 of the last 15 games overall here. Let's see here. Seeing another transfer in here today. A couple more transfers here right now within the last few minutes. Ohio State's Quincy Porter, the wide receiver, he's he committed to the portal. He's going to Notre Dame, and also Oregon lands former Yale offensive tackle, kind of widely coveted here. Michael Bennett, former Yale player, offensive tackle, commits here within the last couple of minutes here to the Oregon Ducks. So Oregon lands a big-time tackle in Bennett. All right. Navy's covered 5 straight here. American, they're always solid at home. They've won 17 of their last 20 at DC, but they haven't been a good underdog this year. Now, granted, they playing the weaker schedule. They're 1-7 straight up. Navy here is 10-1 straight up as a favorite. They don't really play in that. The non-conference schedule is such a big deal with some of these, and Navy did play some tough teams. They lost to Yale, Penn State, North Carolina. They lost to UNC Wilmington as well. So since then, though, it's been all on a roll here for Navy right now. Navy's 4-11 to the under this season, including 2-9 to the under as a favorite here. So I got to take the under in this one with Navy and American. Give me the under here between these two tonight in the big game in the Patriot League. And we can go to the chat to see what you guys have. Americans gone under in 4 of their last 5. Navy's gone under in 7 of their last 8. And 10 of the last 14 meetings between these two teams have gone under. All right, here we go with Greg likes American to win here at home. Man, they always get it done at home, don't they? LALV's on the over. Seth is on Navy. Robert likes the under here with me, and LALV likes Navy. So big one there. Can Navy keep it going? American needs to have this one to not fall 3 games behind right now here early on in the season. I'll take the under here in this one. So, hey, these are the games you want to tune in to. The morning steam. We're going to preview some of the best games here. Let's see what we got. Greg says American plus and the money line, and 9 Legacy likes American money line as well, it looks like. LAOB said Navy. Yep, here we go. Next up, we're going to go to the Southland now for a couple of big games here. This one's not the big one of the night, but it's certainly a pretty good one. Top teams meeting in the Southland tonight, I think is the way we can put it here. And if anything, Southland is not bottom of the barrel here. They've got some pretty strong teams here, including these two. Pretty good anyway. Incarnate Word comes in here. They're 3-4 right now in conference play. Stephen F. Austin, though, is 6-1. They're right there in the mix with Nichols and McNeese. The big game tonight is between Nichols and McNeese. The big game of the season, actually, we'll preview in just a moment. But Stephen F. Austin is right there in the standings with these guys here at 6-1. They're also 13-3 straight up. Incarnate Word has lost 2 in a row here right now. Losses to Lamar and Rio Grande Valley. And after all, you're not fully Word unless you're Incarnate Word. For Stephen F. Austin here, they're on a cover streak here for sure, coming in off of a win over Houston Christian. They lost to McNeese by 2, but they did cover. They were getting 10.5 in that game. So this is a good matchup for sure here. Stephen F. Austin's been a mighty good cover so far, 12-2 ATS, 6-0 ATS at home, 9-1 ATS as a favorite. They've kind of been rolling a little bit right now, and they are favored here by 8 in this game. So let's see what you got, though. Incarnate Word comes in 3-5 against the spread on the road so far. Stephen F. Austin, 4-10 to the under so far, 3-7 to the under as a favorite, and 2-4 to the under as a favorite here at home. Last year, Incarnate Word won both meetings. They won here at Stephen F. Austin 55-49 as a 5-point dog. Look at that low score, right? The other one at Incarnate Word, 63-61. It went under as well. So the series is an under series. I think Stephen F. Austin probably can win. Can they cover? They're playing hot, but Word is a decent team. I'm going to take the under for sure in this one at 130. I have 141 up there, but oh yeah. In fact, this one's gone up. Let me see here. I don't know if I got all the steam in. We haven't really. Where is the steam this morning? Are the sharps out to breakfast? Let's see what we got here. If there's been some steam here in this one, it feels like it there. Yeah, the steam did come in on the over. It was 138. We're up to 141, but you see those results from last year. I mean, come on, 104 points in the first game, 124 points in the second game. They had played previously a few years ago, but just since getting in this conference action here, 2 low-scoring games last year. And like I said, both won by Incarnate Word. That also has to be considered, I think, in the head-to-head matchup. And the fact that it is a modest spread here. And while, yes, Stephen F. Austin is looking pretty good, and, they're in there with those top teams, but Word's done well. All right, let's see what you got here in the chat. And this interesting game, huh? Too many points. Take Word. Here's, I think that's Word. I think that's the Incarnate Word there. If you were to write Incarnate Word, it's University of Incarnate Word, I think is right. SFA on the money line. Greg says Word in the under. And Robert McCormick on the under here as well. Ooh, next up, Grambling and Florida A&M. Let's take a look here and get into some more action here. Important conference game here in this one. Let's go out to the SWAC with Grambling coming in here 2-1. Florida A&M 1-1 right now. But I think if you look at the overall picture here, you got to think that Grambling, although they're 2-1, top of the standings here, Pine Bluff 3-0, Bethune-Cookman 2-0, Jackson State 2-0, but Grambling is 2-1, and I think, they were, I don't know who you had the favorite. I mean, it had to be either Jackson State or Bethune-Cookman coming in right now, but Pine Bluff has been kind of the surprise. Jackson State's been a bit of surprise. Bethune-Cookman is actually, I think Grambling and Bethune-Cookman were the two teams coming into the season. Cookman plays Southern today. So we'll see. I mean, there's a couple of teams that we've had some bizarre results. I mean, Mississippi Valley's 1-16, and they almost won a game here last time out. So anything can happen in the swacky. But here in this one with Grambling on the road here, they're 8-8 coming in. Florida A&M's 4-9, but Florida A&M's coming in here off of a win. Here, 67-59. Look, if you have some trouble getting these games, you can often get these games on the actual website of the SWAC conference. I don't think this one's an ESPN Plus deal, so, but it's not a subscription or anything. Those are just on the conference side, I think, here with this game tonight. Florida A&M did beat Southern last time out, 67-59 to kind of end a losing streak. Meanwhile, for Grambling here, they come in off of a loss to Cookman, 74-65 is a 3.5-point dog, and that stopped their 3-game winning streak coming into this one. So a little bit tricky here for sure with Grambling on the road, but they are favored here by 2.5 over Florida A&M. Let's see what you guys have here in the chat if you want to play along at home with Mid-Major Monday here in the SWAC. And let's see what you have in this one. I know where I'm headed here. I got to I'm going to stay at home here and take these points actually with Florida A&M tonight. Give me Florida A&M plus the points here against Grambling. Florida A&M is a 2-1 ATS at home. Grambling's 9-5 ATS overall, 7-3 against the 6-4 against the spread on the road. In fact, I have the spread backwards, and it's not by accident. The Florida A&M's actually moved to a favorite here. I wonder if I should even reassess. I was kind of going off my early notes, but no, I'll take them still. They took the steam here big time at plus 1.5 or so, and now they're favored by 2. So I think the sharps are clearly seeing it the way I am. I'll still lay the 2. I didn't stick my foot in my mouth too soon, I hope here. I wouldn't have flip-flopped on this one. Maybe I could have went to the total instead, but the widely reported steam did come in on the under in this game. It moved from 140 here, or 143 down to 141. It actually touched 140 and got back up. So I'll go ahead and take Florida A&M here, laying 2 points. They were a 2-point dog. They were a 2.5-point dog, but this is just the way it unfolded, and maybe I got to talking too fast. But Grambling's 3-7 to the under on the road as a road underdog, and FAMU is 0-3 to the under as at home. This will now be Florida A&M's first game as a favorite so far this season. The 2 teams last year, it was, let's see here, Grambling won at home 79-72 as an 8-point favorite. Florida A&M won at home 73-68 as a 2.5-point favorite. So interesting there. And both games landed, or that game landed about 141, right on with this total at Florida A&M. So I'm gonna take the Rattlers here over Grambling. Let's see what you have here in this one. Here's Robert going to take Grambling, though. Now they're getting the points at least. LALB's on the over, and Greg says Grambling. Florida A&M and the under here for Greg Gibson. Only here are we getting into the best games in college basketball. That way we know when we get to March and everybody says, I don't even know about these teams, we can say, you know what, we remember they were good, they were bad, they were covering, they were not, because we'll take a look at these teams whenever we get a chance on a show on a card like today. Let's move on to the next one here. Next up. Okay, Maryland Eastern Shore here is taking on Norfolk State. So we got to get into a little action here. Let's get into it. We got to go out to the worst conference in the country and make sure we take a look at these guys. This is a big matchup here with first place Maryland Eastern Shore right now. They are here 2-0 in conference play. I think they're probably going to be in contention here, but Norfolk is probably the preseason favorite. So I think this is, you also have North Carolina Central right now 2-0. So Norfolk's 1-1. South Carolina State's 1-1, but I don't think they're the match for Norfolk. I really do think it is these 3 teams. Also, Howard is off to a 0-2 start. Howard was probably actually kind of a co-favorite with Norfolk State. Maybe they were favored over, but Howard's off to a pretty weak start. Funny, because they actually had a good non-conference season here where most of these teams, go on the road and get those paydays. And Howard actually won a few games out there, and they struggle in conference play, strangely enough. Now, they do play Delaware State tonight, so they'll probably get a win, but I don't know. Delaware State battled the 0-2s there in that one. Okay, so we're into it here with Maryland Eastern Shore on the road. They're getting points here from Norfolk tonight. Norfolk comes in here with a record of 7-11 overall. 6-13 is Maryland Eastern Shore. Eastern Shore's won 2 straight wins and covers over Morgan and Howard. Norfolk, meanwhile, did beat Delaware State but did not cover. In fact, they failed to cover in 4 straight games right now. They even lost to North Carolina Charlotte on the road. North Carolina Central on the road is a 1.5-point favorite. It's Maryland Eastern Shore that is actually 9-5 against the spread on the road, 7-4 against the spread as a dog, while Norfolk is 0-4 against the spread at home and 1-4 against the spread as a favorite here. So kind of tough to want to lay it, I would think, with Norfolk, given, like I said, Maybe because they were a preseason kind of favorite here, maybe they've been caught laying a few too many points early on. Which, I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but eventually, they're still laying the points here against the Maryland Eastern Shore team that are currently in first place. So I'll take Maryland Eastern Shore here to at least cover in this one. Maybe it will be a blowout tonight for Norfolk. I mean, the last time these two teams played, Norfolk has kind of owned this series, but usually they've been favored by too many points. Last year, Norfolk at home won. Uh, 81 to 59. They did get the money in the conference tournament, though. Norfolk was favored by 15.5 and only won by 7. And Norfolk was favored by 12.5 at Eastern Shore during the regular season and only won by, they won by 12, but they did not cover there. So I'm going to try Maryland Eastern Shore here and take them plus the points against Norfolk tonight. They're in first place. Here we go. Let's see if you guys doing a great job here following the games along with me. Hey, I don't know anything more than you. I just try to research these teams. Pay more attention to the spread. I mean, it'd be great to know more about, some of the top players here. I can, a few good players, and Norfolk's got a great tandem, of course, with Jameson and McComb. Two good guys. Maryland Eastern Shore, they're more of a team concept. Norfolk's got, two guys that really stand out. Let's see here. In Maryland Eastern Shore here for 9 Legacy. Greg on Norfolk here to win, but it's going to be a tough cover. Robert's on the under. Greg says Eastern Shore and the under. LALB says Eastern Shore plus the points. All right. Good job, you guys. Market getting a little bit of recovery going here right now. What a wild weekend in the news. What are we gonna do? We're gonna blow up Iran's clerical infrastructure. Then we're gonna go take Greenland. what else are we doing? We're gonna kick Exxon out of Venezuela and put some. Oh boy, here we go. Good thing we've got our big game here of the night. Nichols State taking on McNeese State. This is the big one of the night for sure. In any conference, any game you want to look at here on this card, this is it. Tonight, even though it's a 14-point spread, you have to look at it objectively here. I mean, Nichols has done a pretty good job. I'm not ready to even count them out of this game necessarily as good as McNeese has been. McNeese isn't a great cover because they're the team everybody talks about, right now in the Southland Conference, and with good reason. I mean, they're still McNeese. They've had a great run here under Coach Armstrong. They come in here, though, 6-1, tied with Stephen F. Austin, as we mentioned, and Nichols is 7-0 right now in conference play. Yeah, they're 8-8 overall. McNeese is 13-3 overall, and McNeese has done a nice job with a lot of these games, even the non-conference games. They beat George Washington. They beat Louisiana Lafayette. They beat Murray State. They beat Middle. They beat Rhode Island right in the middle of their conference schedule. They played Michigan. Only lost by 41. I think did they cover that game? Against them? No, they were getting 23, and that's right, they were getting 23.5. We talked about that game that day, didn't we? But for Nichols here, they've certainly done a pretty nice job too. Even though they're 8-8, they started off the season 0-7 with losses to teams like Kentucky, Murray State, Oklahoma State, and Creighton. That built them up. I mean, there's no reason to overlook that. They also lost to Pacific here, but 7-0 in conference play so far, doing a great job. They beat Word, they beat Houston Christian, and they are 8-7 against the spread is Nichols. McNeese 5-3 against the spread at home. There's not a lot of great covers, I don't think, between these two teams coming in. I think they've just been, a lot of times they're laying points to these clubs in their conference here anyway, so it makes it just a little bit difficult. But come on, Nichols getting 14. They're playing absolutely terrific here. How are you not going to take Nichols State in this game? I mean, McNeese is the best team, I guess, in the conference for sure. But I think if you look at the overall ratings in the Southland Conference here, you got to think that Nichols is going to be pretty good. Stephen F. Austin might be the second best team, but after that, you probably got Nichols, and they're playing well enough here right now. Nobody's going to complain. It's sure, for McNeese, they've got Johnson, they've got Archie here, and Nichols does it kind of with just a group effort pretty much. But still, when you look at Nichols, they've got a top 50 scoring offense in the country so far. They're one of the best defensive one of the best rebounding teams, at least for levels like this. And McNeese, they don't rebound at all. They are a short team, a small team. I guess in conference they are a lot better here right now. But hey, I think we've got a little bit more breaking news here right now from the transfer portal. I think we might have to get it going here and take a look. I think we're just starting to see this one break right now. Let's see if we can confirm it here. All right. Yeah, man, I don't want to jump on this one too early. I don't even think it's breaking here too much right now. Just kind of want to make sure, but I think we can go with it. Oh man, let me see. I just want to, as a reporter, I always want to have two sources, but I think we got plenty now. Let's get into it. There they come. We always beat them. We're always a little bit to the punch here right now, but let's go with a little bit of breaking news. All right, just in here in the last couple of minutes, LSU is the target for Sam Levitt. Levitt will be following Coach Kippen to LSU. They have their QB1, the former Arizona State quarterback here right now is going to be heading to LSU. Not really a surprise, I don't think, if you saw. Maybe Kippen knew all the way that he was going to get this one. So, did see a video here just a few moments ago of players at Sam Levitt's locker as he announced that he's going to be transferring here to LSU, and we'll see if he makes the difference. But Coach Kippen has his quarterback in Levitt. This is a significant add here. He was pretty much rated number one in the transfer portal at 247 Sports. So pretty big move here right now for Coach Kippen to get his number one, no doubt about it, Sammy Levitt, headed to LSU to be the quarterback for Coach Lane Kippen. I guess kind of leaving Tennessee high and dry, but I don't think that was going to happen now when it came to the money. Also, Levitt also had Miami on his sights as well. So Arizona State transfer quarterback Sammy Levitt expected to sign with LSU. Also, Kentucky, I think, was also in the running. Sammy Levitt had 4,600 yards and 36 touchdowns last season, and he'll be going to LSU. So we're getting some big news today, but we got two of the biggest ones already right here on the show right now. So hey, that's why you're here, hopefully, with me on the Mornings Team Show. You don't even have that on the CBS News Sports HQ yet, right? We always beat them here with our updates. Sam Levitt headed to the Bayou. See your reactions here a little bit if you have anything on this one. And think we made our last pick there, right, with Nichols. So I think we can move on to the hockey. Did you guys have any picks there? Did I leave them out? Let me see here. Maybe we got into it too quick. So, there's some Nichols State right there for VAR. And Greg said 80-67 McNeese. Nichols on the spread for 9 Legacy. LALB on the Nichols as well. And VAR, you got it, VAR. I got to do a little bit better. I've actually toned it down because I thought I've had a mediocre weekend in college basketball. There, the picks were, definitely running a little below 500. So, also had some losing bets here privately. So I usually just tone it down if I'm not that hot. College basketball is usually my best sport. So yeah, you got it, Bar. Well, I'll definitely have probably about three, 4, or 5 picks. It looks like on the premium side there today. Thank you, my friend. Greg says you got a 10 or 12 point win here for McNeese. That would be a cover for the dog, and Robert went with the under there. All right. Okay, let's get to the hockey tonight. We've got a pretty big card, so we're not done yet here on the morning steam, but we won't take too long here with these. Get ready for our hockey coverage. Let's start it off with the Lightning taking on the Flyers here. Lightning going to be a favorite on the road in this one.
Steam play.
Uh-oh, finally. I got all these people waiting. Oh, it's an NBA game, but that's okay. NBA move here. Oh, of course, it's one that we already released here. The steam is in on the under Brooklyn and Dallas here. It was 220. What was it? 220 and a half. It was 221 and a half last night, right? But we're seeing the steam come in here right now. Seeing it right now at 219 and a half at Circa. So steam to the under here, Brooklyn and Dallas. All right, Lightning and Flyers here, Vasilevsky and Vladar here. Let me fire up the goalie computer a little bit, make sure we got the right guys in there. And Flyers here on the road, favored by $1.55. Total is 6 under 15 or so, I think, right now. Maybe it's moved just a little bit to the over here in this one. Tampa Bay is red hot. We know that. Here, Vladar is confirmed, by the way, in goal for the Flyers. Vladar, Urson is just having his struggles right now, no doubt about it. So I think Vladar here, he is the man that you want to have in the pipes here anyway right now for Philadelphia. Didn't really get much offense from his team in his last game, but he did have a pretty good outing. Stopped 21 of 23 in a 2-1 overtime loss to Toronto. Oops. Oh, and now we're not going to have any breaking news here for a moment because the old tweet deck is down again. So subscribe to the plays so I can replace the tweet deck computer one day, or maybe I'll just have to win some bets here. Flyers here, going to be a dog, of course, at home in this one, and Tampa is on this impressive 8-game winning streak here coming into this one. So let's see what you have here tonight with the Lightning on the road with this winning streak. No doubt about it. They've won 9 straight, actually. They've also won 15 of the last 20 games against the Flyers overall here. Man, even with Vladar in here, you got to think goals here possibly tonight. I mean, if you look at these two teams overall, you guys have Flyers here, 18-10 to the over as an underdog. Tampa Bay's been going over here big time. Over in 6 of their last 7 overall, 5 straight overs on the road. Philly's gone over in 5 of their last 6 and 4 of their last 5 at home. 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams here in Philadelphia have gone over, and 6 of the last 9 overall have gone over between these two. Wow. Lightning here, it feels like they're the of course, the better team, and money-wise, they seem to be a little bit better here too. I mean, the Flyers right now at home this season, 12, 6, and 5. They're a dog here, which is okay, except they're 11 and 17 as a dog in Tampa Bay, 15 and 4 on the road here. This is where they thrive, actually. So this has been their strong suit when they're away from home. Tampa Bay, 15, 4, and 3 to be exact on the road overall. They're up 5 1/3 units on the road here as well. So let's hear from you in the chat right now. You know, Philly at home, I mean, they're definitely playing some really strong hockey this year at 22, 13, and 8 overall. Yeah, they don't quite have the record Tampa Bay does, but maybe at home you can consider a little bit of plus money. It's just that Tampa Bay on the road has been so awesome. But $1.55, let me hear from you in the chat, and then I'll have to decide in this one. Could just go with the over, although I know the sharps. I show sharp bets coming in here. If I talk about the juice reel a little bit, I count the sharp bets. I track them, as the ones that are, winning gamblers. You can just zero it down and see these guys are good at hockey. Okay. And they're, clearly on the under in this
Critical
game, but I
notice.
don't know if I can do it considering all those overs. Okay, here we go. Bars on the under here. 9 Legacy Flyers money line. Greg says 3-2. Tampa Bay says Tampa looking good here. Also, see now CBS Sports. Just to let you know, CBS News HQ is just coming out with that Levitt story right now. I mean, it wasn't. I'm not breaking it, but we see it a little quicker. Yeah, they got to get some graphics together and everything, but. Public Enemy on the Lightning here. Flyers are a tricky team, says Greg, but they should win. LALV likes the under here in this one. All right. I'm going to lay it with the Flyers. I got to take a little bit of a favorite here. That's all I can do. I'm going to take the Flyers minus $1.55 on the road here and start with a favorite tonight. Got the Hurricanes here taking the Red Wings on the road. I got Brandon Bussey, it looks like, in here right now. Good game tonight. This might be the game of the night with Carolina coming in here on a 4-game winning streak right now, 28-14-3. Detroit's 27-15-4. They're on a 3-game winning streak here in this one right now. So Detroit playing well. They're a little bit of a dog here, but man, Carolina's really looking sharp. Here against everybody, it feels like. Carolina comes in here right now on this 4-game winning streak. They did beat Seattle last time out 3-2. I thought Seattle actually played pretty well in that game, but for Carolina here, they've won 7 of the last 8 meetings over Detroit as well. Detroit 8-3, last 11 games straight up. They're looking good. 13-10 as an underdog this season, but still Carolina, with this record, they're favored all the time. They're 12-6 straight up on the road here in this one. 4 of the last 5 meetings here in Detroit between these two teams have gone under. 8 of the last 11 overall on the under. Detroit has gone under in 7 of their last 8 games at home as well. Carolina has gone over in 8 of their last 12, but they're still 8-12 to the under on the road. I'm going to take the under in this one with Carolina and Detroit. Bussey has a great record here so far for Carolina since becoming in their Gibson is likely here for the Red Wings. He's 16-9-1 with a 2.75 goals against and a 90% save percentage. But Bussey 16-2-1, an incredible record right now, 2.28 goals against and 90% save percentage as well. Give me the Hurricanes here. I'm sorry, give me the under in this one at 6. Under is my official play at 6. Here we go with, I think LALV might be on the under here. Here's Greg on Detroit. LALV likes the Canes and the under. Greg says, I take Canes. They will lose. Hey, we do have a little bit of breaking news here right now as well. We're not going to go to the graphic in this one, but you guys were asking about Cam Thomas earlier, and now Cam Thomas will be out tonight for the Nets. It's going to be a rest day, however. Not necessarily an injury here. So Thomas of the Nets out tonight, and let's see if the spread is moving anyway with this news here right now. In fact, seeing it go down here to 3.5. So, yep, we get a little bit of a take back here. The total also moving down. We talked about that move on the under, so that's obviously the reason here with Cam Thomas. He's going to take a rest day here tonight. Let's move on. Let me get a few more plays here. 9 Legacy for likes the Red Wings. Greg says, got to take Gibson. Hello to Wager Detective today. Hi, Wager Detective. Here, good to see you in there. He loves that big game of the night. We already previewed it, my brother, and he likes it over. So thank you to Wager Detective stopping by. He's got some great content, that's for sure. Thank you to Wager Detective. A Public Enemy here, Red Wings money line and under. And Mike says under there and the wings. That under and the wings right there. Okay. Keep it moving here right now on the ice tonight with another good one. Oh, man. Maybe this is the game of the night. Look at this one. The Panthers on the road here taking on the best team in hockey. Well, they're not the Colorado Avalanche, but they're the Buffalo Sabres. Say it with pride, man. You just hope that this continues for the Sabres right now in this incredible run. Sure, they lost a game to Columbus, but what they do? They came right back and have won the last three in a row again to keep this great streak going, man. Hey, you're going to lose a game or two, but Buffalo, you'd think if anything, they'd probably go into the tank and lose a few, get back to normal. But normal now is winning. Buffalo's won 13 of their last 14. They've won 6 straight at home. They are just 2-6 in their last 8 games against Florida, but we know Florida's been great and Buffalo not so much. Just note the Panthers are 8-3 as an underdog this season. Granted, when they're an underdog, the price is similar to this, where it's pretty closely rated, but still, you're an underdog and you come through with a win, so that's kind of a big deal. Buffalo here, about $1.15, $1.20 total is moving down though. I think I'm going to have to move it down here to 6 over 15. There we go. Okay, and so let's hear from you in the chat on this one. Buffalo at home. Are they going to keep it going here right now? Still. Oh.
Windows will read instant. Type without the keyboard. Okay.
Okay. We want to make sure we have our tweet deck going in case there's more breaking news here. Can't miss it. Okay, for Florida here, they've won 13 of the last 16 meetings overall against Buffalo. So, if you look at head-to-head, but that's a little different when Buffalo's as hot as they are, it feels like right now. The two teams have, I believe, met once this year. Buffalo won it 3-0. You got a Buffalo team here so far. They've gone under in 9 of the last 11 meetings against Florida. Yes, maybe they weren't scoring against Florida here the last since Florida's been so good here of late, but Florida's gone under in 4 of their last 6 games coming in. And, Buffalo, while their scoring has gone up, it's been a real big improvement defensively too, I think. And Pekka Luukkonen here, let me see here, I believe is in goal. See if they have any update to that, because I want to go under. I don't think it matters, but I'm going to go under here in this one with the Panthers and the Sabres here tonight. Let's see what you guys have in this one. Oh, it's Colton Ellis in there. Well, you know what? I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but let me update that. So it looks like Ellis will be in here. Played his first game in over a month last week and was terrific in that game. He stopped 30 of 32 in a 5-2 win over the Rangers. Ellis so far, 3.1 goals against and a 5-3 record so far. And, but Bob here, 18, 12, and 1, 2.9 goals against. I'm going to take the under in this one with Florida and Buffalo tonight. Give me the under in this one. Go to the chat here real quick. And let's see what we got. All right, Fernando. Just going to take the Nets there. Wager Detective likes American in that game against Navy. We previewed that one as well. So, oops, I don't know, Greg. You don't be putting words in Wager Detective's mouth. Let's see here. Buffalo for Mr. Weskers. Greg likes Buffalo to keep it going there. And let's see here. Oh, do I have to update the total here in this one? Oops. You're talking about that other game there, Wager Detective. Thank you. Public Enemy on the Sabres here. Maybe Seth likes the under in this one. I'm taking the under as well. Let's move on to the Kraken. Let's get Kraken. Kraken here on the road, an underdog, of course, against the Rangers. We know we like to fade the Rangers at home, right? And they're starting to struggle again here. Rangers just 20, 20, and 6. Seattle has lost 2 in a row as well, but they're 20, 15, and 8 coming in. Seattle with back-to-back losses against Minnesota and Carolina, but they still played well. They are playing well right now, still playing well. They had that winning streak, and yeah, they lost these last 2 games, but the Minnesota game was an overtime loss at home. Now they did lose to Carolina on the road, but Carolina's looking good here too. The Rangers are 5-11 at home so far this season. Seattle 10-8 on the road here. And look, you still have Quick in there, and he had that disastrous game last time out. He's lost, I think they told me 8 in a row right now. Quick has lost, and he gave up those 10 goals to Boston, and they just had to leave him in there because they really just didn't have a choice as Boston kept piling up the goals. So the Rangers are struggling here. You got to think the Kraken, who is a terrific road team as far as profitability wise. The Rangers at home, they don't do anything. They're down here this season. At home, 11.5 units so far. Man, they're just giving it away now. Meanwhile, Seattle on the road, they're profitable, about 2 2/3 units so far this season. But so we'll see. I mean, Shesterkin's injured. That makes a big difference. But you look at the totals for these two combined 35 and 54 to the under. The Rangers are 5 and 15 to the under at home, 7 and 15 to the under as a favorite. Seattle 16 and 22 to the under as an underdog. They are 11 and 10 to the over on the road. But let's see what you have here. Even though the Rangers are having to go to Quick and they got pounded here, you probably have to still think under, even if it just backfires a little bit. Total here, I believe, has worked its way down to 5.5 over 20 at some spots, but I'm showing 6 flat at plenty of spots too. That's weird. It's definitely not 6 under. Man, Bovada, this is one you can kind of work some angles here if you really want to just make some money a little bit. The prices are such that you can it should be 6 under favored here. In fact, but Bet Online is 6 under 16, but Circa's 6 flat. Stations here in Las Vegas where I like to play 6 flat, South Point 6 flat, and then Bovada 5.5 over 20. So pretty interesting there, but I'm going to take the under here in this one with the Kraken and the Rangers tonight. Give me the under. I've got 3 unders in a row here on the Morning Steam show. Let's see what you have in the chat. And Kraken here for Greg. Cameron Sinnett, nice to see you, Cam. Good to see you in the chat here. He does have his NFL analysis, so we've got to pump it up here for Cam, even though we covered that game at the top of the show. But thank you. Nice to see Cam in the chat today. Public Enemy on Kraken here. And 9 Legacy, what does he say? Florida, Moneyline, New York, Rangers, Moneyline as well. Mike, even amateur sleuth like me, you got to have a couple of sources, right?
Critical notice.
Otherwise, I'd be like, who doesn't check his sources is Mikey Money. Mikey, you got to have 2 sources, okay? LALB likes the Kraken. Seth says Rangers are favored. They suck at home. They do suck at home. Why are they? They've actually shown how bad they are by starting to lose a little bit on the road, right, gang? Hey, the market's starting to have a little bit of a rush here today. Okay, Kraken and under for LALB. Next up, let's go to an all Canuck matchup here with the Canucks on the road taking on the Habs. Canadians coming in here with a record of 25-14-6. Vancouver 16-23-5, and man, Vancouver might be broken here at this point with this losing streak going on right now with no end in sight. All of a sudden, they've lost 6 in a row, 1-4 in their last 5 on the road. Montreal's won 5 of their last 8. Coming into this one. Now, Montreal hasn't been an overly profitable team, but Vancouver on the road so far this season, they're 12-11-2 on the road, but 4-12-3 at home. They're kind of one of those teams that kind of hang in there, and maybe even against Montreal here. Is this a spot where they can at least hang in here? Montreal is just 12-10. The Canucks are good on the road. The Canadians are good on the road. So kind of interesting there. And we know most of the games are going to be in the United States, right? You can only play the other 5 Canadian teams so often. So they like to travel into the U.S. and beat the U.S. teams, and then they lose at home for some reason. So can you get behind Vancouver, though, here in this one against Montreal? If you look at the overall series between these two teams, you might have a problem doing so. Montreal's won the last 3 meetings here, including back in October 4-3 at Vancouver. 7 of the last 8 meetings between these two teams have gone over, including 4 of the last 5 here in Montreal. But Vancouver's gone under in 13 of their last 20, and Montreal's gone under in 6 of their last 7. I don't know if that's necessarily what we're seeing here because of these two teams this season. I mean, you got Montreal here, 27-18 to the over, Vancouver 25-19 to the over. But again, these two teams Montreal scores more on the road, and Vancouver, they seem to play better defense at home. So this one's tricky. I would imagine goals are on the menu. The total currently is still 6.5 under, so it is rated pretty high. We did just get some news in here within the last couple of minutes on this game that Josh Anderson will be out of this game for Montreal tonight. So they're missing a winger there. So I don't know. This feels like the spot where you've almost got to lean towards Vancouver a little bit, maybe to break this streak. By the way, it is. I think Dobbs is in there. Actually, let me check the goalie situation here real quick. But I think it's going to be Dobish in there today for Montreal. Yeah, he is confirmed as the goalie. So this is what I was talking about. Fowler will probably get sent back down, I'd imagine. Let me see if they have any information on that, because Dobish is about to make his first start here in 2 weeks. They've been rotating the other 2 goalies here, but Dobish returns here. He's been strong, right? I mean, so far he's 13-5-3 here with a 3.01 goals against. Yeah, he was a lot hotter early on. In the last 15 games, he's 7-5-3 after starting 6-0. So, but again, he was injured here a little bit, and he's back here, right? Or I guess there was a rotation there. I don't know if it was officially an injury, but the Canucks here are 0-4-2 in the last 6. Let me hear from you in the chat. I feel like I want to still take Vancouver here. Here we go. Habs minus the goal and a half here for 9. Legacy for Greg Gibson. He's on the Canadians here. And look at Andrew K. He wants Yvonne Cournoyer here to score. Let's dial it back. Let's go into the archives. Let's see here. Canucks here. Plus a goal and a half, and Seth on Montreal here as well. So, yeah, I wish Montreal was favored by a little bit more. I feel like the Sharps are kind of into the Canucks here a little bit if it's $1.75 here in this one. You got Lankinen expected in goal here. So, man, this one feels tough. Give me the over here. I'll just have to chicken out. Go to the over in this one with Montreal and the Canadians tonight. I'll take the over in this one. Under for LALB. Oh, well. Let's go to another decent one here with the Devils on the road taking on the Wild. But the Devils have lost 4 straight. They're 22-21-2. Minnesota, meanwhile, they've lost 3 of 4, but they're still 26-11-9. Minnesota coming in off of a loss here to the Islanders last time out at home, 4-3. But it was an overtime game, and they were coming in off a long road trip. New Jersey, meanwhile, has lost 4 straight, as I said, to Carolina, the Islanders, to Pittsburgh, and to Winnipeg. Coming into this one for the Devils here, they've won 5 straight meetings in this series, but the Devils have lost 5 of their last 6 on the road. They are 10-8 as an underdog, but Minnesota 13-4 at home this season. Minnesota has lost 4 of their last 6, as I mentioned, but 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams have gone over. Minnesota's gone over in 7 of their last games, 8 games overall. New Jersey's been trending under here for sure, but, as an underdog, they are just 9 overs and 9 unders here. So with the total at 6, with it juiced here, it looks like, it feels like 6 flat. I'm going to update it, because I think I'm going to take the over here in this one. Let's see what you guys have. I might be able to be talked off of it, actually. I don't know if it's a solid. Let's see what you got here with Devils and the Wild with Markstrom and the Wall of St. Paul here, Wallstedt going here right now. All right, Greg says 4-2 Wild, and that's it. That's it in the chat for these two. Oh, boy. All right, give me the over in this one with New Jersey and Minnesota. Guess we'll move on. Not a great game, or maybe it is a good game here. Oilers and Blackhawks, man. Blackhawks are back to their winning ways here. Edmonton still won 2 of 3 as well. Edmonton, though, coming in off of a loss to the Kings, finally. Kings won a game there the other night, but Edmonton did beat Nashville and Winnipeg before that. Meanwhile, for Chicago here, they beat Nashville, lost to Washington. That ended that long winning streak, but still, Chicago among the hottest teams in the league. I mean, what can you say? Chicago right now has won 5 of their last 6, but Edmonton's won 7 of their last 10 on the road. They've also won 9 of the last 10 meetings in this series against Chicago, but still, Edmonton, man, so inconsistent right now. 11-11 on the road. Chicago 10-9 at home so far this season. Chicago is 31-12 as a puck line dog. Edmonton 13-24 as a puck line dog in here. But man, Chicago should be able to give them a battle, you'd think, even though they've lost 5 straight games to the Oilers. It just seems like they're playing so much better right now. Talking about the Chicago Blackhawks and this streak, they're getting good goaltending too. Knight is finally, he definitely had some woes in there. In fact, if anything, it was probably Knight's inconsistency. It felt like that was kind of costing him for a while. He's 13-11 and 6 of the 2.61 goals against. Meanwhile, for Calvin Pickard, 5-6-2 with a 3.68 goals against. I mean, one of the highest goals against averages for qualifying goaltenders and an 87% save percentage. So, look, Edmonton's 27-18 to the over, although on the road they usually tend to go under a little bit more. In Chicago here, meanwhile, 19-6 to the under, 19-14 to the under at home. So, yeah, usually, look, 6, it's shaded to the under right now. In fact, look at this. It's gone up here to 6.5. You got to give me the under in this one. I know these Oilers games get a little wacky here, but I got to go with the under in this one between Chicago and Edmonton. I might be the only one, and I'm going to update it too to make it a 6.5. I'll juice it up here for sure to at least minus 120, but they're minus 125. Let's see here. 6.5 under 15 at Circa, 6.5 over 15 at Bovada. Just goes to show you, though, what, Circa, when you see the Circa line, they're a little bit different from the others. You usually can roll with Circa a little bit. There we go. And I'll take the under in this one with Edmonton and Chicago tonight. See what you have in the chat on this one. I do see some. We're all going crazy with Cornwall. Here's Blackhawks on the puck line here. 9 Legacy says Minnesota Wild -1 and Chicago Blackhawks money line. Public Enemies on the Wild. Public Enemies on the Oil here, laying the puck and a half. LALB on the under, and Seth will take the +1.5 as well. So I think you guys are willing to take Chicago a little bit here. You want to add the puck line here, and it's not cheap to do so, but I understand it that maybe you still favor Chicago in this one. They're minus $1.75 or $1.80 on that puck line, but that's all right. And Greg said 3-2 Oilers. A couple more here tonight, and then we'll be done with the show. Thank you for a great time here tonight. Don't forget, you can enter your name right now in the chat, or not in here. You can type anything in the chat, actually, right now to be eligible for our drawing here at the end of the show. If you've stuck around with me long enough here and been typing in the chat, you can win free picks from me over at winnable.com. Stay tuned for the drawing here at the conclusion of the show. Maple Leafs on the road taking on Colorado. Look, Colorado is great, but Toronto has all of a sudden won 3 in a row. They're playing well here again. On a little bit of a roll right now. This is not a great roll for him as a road dog, no doubt about it, but got Joseph Woll in there, and I think it's going to be Trent Miner possibly here right now. Let's see. I'm showing some of the sites with minors, some of them with Wedgwood here. So we'll just leave it. Maybe I can take one peek here at another site and see what we've got. No reason to discuss too much about Colorado's trends. I mean, all I got to say is they pretty much win them all. They're 33, 4, and 7. They're 19, 0, and 2. What are they? 19, 0, and 3, 19, 0, and 2 at home right now. Coming into this one, look, Toronto on the road. They're down 5.25 units so far this season, but they have won a few here of late. But still, man, and when they go in and play the Avalanche here, let's go into some of the trends here. Maybe that'll help us get solidified. Colorado's won 10 straight at home, 12 of the last 14 overall. Over between these two teams, how about this? 14-0 to the over when these two teams have played the last 14 games. Now, 9 of the last 12 have gone over. Toronto has gone under in 5 of their last 7, and Colorado's 18-25 to the under as a favorite. So, all season, 19-25 to the under for Colorado, but that's pretty tough to ignore. Now, they just meet twice a year, so that's over the last 7 years, but every game has gone under when these two teams have met for the last 7 seasons here in Toronto. Last 14 years in Colorado. I'll get it straight. Too many games will get tired here. What are you going to take in this one? Let me know in the chat. I'll just listen to you guys here possibly. It is down to 240 at some of the sharp books here. Right now, the two teams have not yet met this season. Last time here in Colorado last year was 7-4. Colorado won. Toronto won at home 2-1. 2 years ago, Toronto did win here in Colorado 4-3. Of course, it was a high-scoring game. Let's go to the chat here. Between the Maple Leafs and the Avalanche, Greg likes it to be 4-2 in this one. Nine Legacy will take an upset here. And let's see, Maple Leafs in there. Let's see, Maple Leafs for Public Enemy. Andrew K. He's going even deeper into the archives here. That's before I was born, man. Come on. Help me out, Dave Keon. Dave Keon, dead or alive, help me out in the chat. Avs Moneyline and over. And Wedgwood saves the day here for the Avs. Oh, boy. Well, let's see here. I guess I got to make my call in this one with Wool and Wedgwood, I guess, here tonight. Give me the Avalanche. I'll take them, lay the puck line here. Colorado for me tonight. Hey, good to see Robert Dixon in the chat here. We're going the last game in honor of Robert. Stars and Kings here in this one. You've got the Stars on the road here, $1.20 total. 6 under for there's some 5.5s. There's some 6 flats out there right now as well between these two. So maybe it's 6 under 15. I don't know. All I do know is the Kings finally won a game, and they are taking on Dallas here. Boy, this doesn't seem like a very good matchup for them. The Kings, they've actually won, 3 of their last 5 here coming in. They beat Edmonton last time out 4-3. Dallas has been struggling, man. They lost to San Jose last time out. They beat Washington before that, but was on a losing streak. But still, Dallas 14-4 on the road. The Kings just 7-9 at home, so Dallas is in their element a little bit. Dallas has already won this season against the Kings 4-1, although the Kings won a game too against Dallas on the road. Ottinger here, it looks like, going up against Kemper here. We'll see if that is the matchup here. Nothing's confirmed, but doesn't seem like it wouldn't be tonight with these two. See what you have here in this one on our final game, and thank you for joining me here on the Morning Steam. And a good long show here. We were here for 2, almost 3 hours of sports talk fun, huh? Dallas has lost 7 of their last 8. They've beaten the Kings in 14 of the last 20 meetings. Kings have dropped 10 of 15 overall. Dallas has gone over in 8 of their last 9 games on the road. The Kings have gone over in 8 straight games. including 5 straight. Now, 8 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams have gone under here, so that you might want to consider that. But these two teams are hot to the over right now, that's for sure. And I think that wins out. Give me the over in this one with the Stars and the Kings, especially if you get 5.5s out there right now. Yeah, the Kings have had some scoring woes. They're going up against Ottinger here, but the Kings have picked it up here of late. They've actually, for a team that was averaging basically under 2 goals for about 6 or 7 games there before this recent streak, they're actually now have scored 17 goals in the last 5 games. That's not great, but that was that's a goal more than they were averaging in their previous 5 games. So, all right, let's see what you got here, and I'll go ahead and take the over in this one. And what's the 5.5 lines at right now? Oh, 5.5 over 35 at DK. We'll leave it at 6. Grade me at 6. Thank you for joining me here on the Morning Steam. Don't forget, you can get more picks from me. I got to put some picks out there today in college basketball. Try to pick it up here a little bit. Definitely did not have a good weekend in college basketball there. We've been okay for sure, but that was it. Let's see here for the plays in this game real quick. It's going to be Stars for 9 Legacy, Stars for Greg, Stars for Public Enemy, Kings for LALB. Says parlay it up with the over there. All right. Get more picks from me today. Really will appreciate everyone subscribing over at winnable.com/Ramon. And tell you what, you can get, I'm going to do the drawing here in a moment, but we've had such good success here. I want everyone to get signed up. And because I've been struggling, I don't know, it's probably not a great idea, but I want to offer here a promo code for everyone here, actually. And if you'd like to get 7 free days right now, use the promo code LIVE, LIVE, live. 7 free days. If you've never gotten the picks here from me, use the promo code LIVE, and I'll give you 7 free days right now here, just in time for the NFL Division Series playoffs when you sign up. Now, don't forget, when you do sign up, it was just like any other service. Like if, I know you guys are on your dating apps, so have you go for free and then it'll charge you if you don't cancel. So get the 7 days, use the promo code LIVE. If it does go to 7 days, don't charge you, but it's not too much. It's just a few dollars really. So check it out over at winnable.com/Ramon. Let's hear from Mikey.
Hey, it's Mikey Money here, letting you know the Sports Money team is live on Winnable. Come check out our best bets.
For a low monthly cost, you get the very best bets delivered instantly to your phone by text the moment they're locked in. No delays, no missed lines, just the smartest plays at the best odds.
We do the work, you get the plays, and they're sent right to your phone right when we drop them.
Don't wait, don't guess, don't miss the line. Join the winning team today and start cashing tickets with Winnable.
All right, let's do the drawing right now and see who's going to get 1 free month of the plays. And like you said there in the chat, who said it there? Seth, if you're not satisfied, we'll give you 7 more. A wager detective doesn't need the plays from me, but if you'd like, you can sign up over at winnable.com and use the promo code winner for 1 month of plays as our winner today. Wager detective does a great job with his own content. Look him up over on X. And got a few other plays here real quick. Robert was on the Stars, West Up Parlay. That's Abel, but he's changed it to West Up 420. That's got to be Abel. Hi, Abel. Hope I can remember that. I don't want to call you West Up, but I'll try my best. He's got the Clippers and the over and the Kings and the Stars. Thank you to Robert. Thank you to LALB in there. And let's see who else is saying goodbye. Andrew here. Look, the Adams division. Let's go back, Andrew. Let's go back to the Adams and Norris, right? Let's go back to the Campbell Conference a little bit. Abel just has free subscriptions for life. And thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it here. Have a great sports betting day. And join us tonight here on the Sports Money Network in conjunction with Razor Sharp Picks, as we'll have the show here with the NFL playoff game. It should be, should be interesting. I hope it'll be awesome or interesting or what, with the Steelers and the Texans here tonight. Thank you for joining me here on the Morning Steam. We're back tomorrow. Join Mikey Money at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. Mikey gets you ready for the primetime action on pre-gaming. I'll have more plays here from the NHL for sure, some NBA and also college play, and he'll talk about the football game here as well. That's going to do it. All right. Really appreciate it, guys, and take care. We'll see you here tomorrow on the Morning Steam for the Sports Money Network.
That's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice, we might play a parlay. It's the Morning Steam. Ramon Scott, sports money.